Yeah, mate. Hello there. Yeah, I've been spoken to by Tottenham Hotspur, and look, it didn't work out at Forest, but I think it will work out at Tottenham. I think it's pretty hard done by them. I'm a seasoned, proven winner at this sort of game. You know, this is my sort of game. I sound a little bit like Ange, but without the inflection in my voice, mate. Don't say mate quite as much, but looks-wise, form-wise, and skill-wise, I'm probably the guy for the job. Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. Bear with me 1 second as I rat-a-ta-ta, figure out how to close this bad boy down. How is everybody doing? Let's get into the show. Excuse me, that was hard work. That was really hard work doing that. How is everybody? Let me get rid of my hat. Let's get back to English style and say, welcome to the show. Wait a minute, I can't find myself. There I am. How are you? How are you? Dyche Club. Dyche Club. It didn't quite work. I still haven't got the AI thing up to speed yet. The GPU is not quite streaming, but we got to try and do it. We got to try and get these things going. I want to give you a little taste of what I'm going to be doing over the next year. I hope you heard all that. I hope that all came through. Rat-a-ta-ta. And guys, we've got potentially, I don't know what's going on. Oh, God, trying to do that voice down there. Oh, mate. Makes you want to end the stream, Dave. End the stream. I can't even bloody talk after doing that. Rat-a-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. How's everybody doing, guys? It is Sunday. It is 1:14, and Tottenham Hotspur are linked with Sean Dyche. Dyche, baby. Ding, 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 ding. What? Dyche, baby. Ding, 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 ding. Da-ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Edu has been sacked. Edu's been sacked. We've been linked with the director of football from Forest, the Olympiakos, the ex-Olympiakos guy who's currently director of football at Neom FC in Saudi Arabia. There's all sorts of news, views, and clues to get through with you this morning. And I hope you don't mind smashing the granny out of the like button for me. That has really tickled me, that. That has really tickled my throat. Absolute disgrace. It's a disgrace, guys. It's a disgrace. What are we doing here? Sean Dyche, really? He's been linked. Darren bloody Bent, of all people, has come out and backed it. Darren Bent, ex-Tottenham gooner. Darren Bent has said, if you really think that Igor Tudor isn't the guy, then there's no time like the present. You have to make a move. And he would say, go and get Sean bloody Dyche. Yeah, I do need to remove that. Yeah, let's get the cider in, mate. Let's get the cider. What's cracking a lacking, Drewski? Drewski, get yourself on the show, mate. I'll put the link in the chat. Get yourself on the show, mate. Come on and do some accents with me. We got nothing but time, nothing but things to chat about. And if I'm entirely honest, I am considering rebranding the show. I'm considering rebranding away from Spurs Talk Show and talking a little bit more fluently about a bunch of different things as well. You know, I'll keep the rabbit hole on the rabbit hole because that's a little bit too controversial to mix with football, politics and football. But I might just move the show to Sean Butler TV because next season is going to be absolutely, just unbearable all day long talking about, I have to go and do all sorts of research on teams like Lincoln City, who yesterday was singing Tottenham away, ole, ole. What are we doing here, people? It's becoming a reality. And for me, the names that are percolating around as replacements for... I might go into a different mode today. I might put my glasses, I might put the wig on. Let's get a little bit fun. Let's get a bit... These came free with a wig from China. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, people? Actually, no, fuck that. It's too dark. We've got to talk about this because Tim Sherwood's knocking about again, talking like he wants the job. He wanted the job. He didn't get the job. Then he slagged off
the guy who got the job, saying it's a lose-lose. Now it's losing for him. He wants the job again. He's been out of work for how long? 11 years since he last managed a football club. Reckons he could do the job. People talking about Harry Redknapp. People talking about Harry Redknapp and Jermaine Defoe. People talking about Sean Dyche, who just got sacked from Nottingham Forest not that long ago. So he didn't save Nottingham Forest, but he's going to save Tottenham. Is that what we're doing here? Is that what we're doing here? I mean, honest to God. Honest to God. Are we rolling the dice? Are we rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic? Is that what we're doing? I don't know. Guys, smash the like. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell buttons. Excuse me. That's really tickled me. Never, ever expect me to do a Sean Dyche impression again. It's just too low for me, mate. We are rolling the dice, Marshall. We are rolling the dice. And I just don't think it's going to work, guys. Give me 1 second. I've got to cough my guts up. 1 second. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm glad you didn't see that or hear that. Look who we got in the chat. We got the old Drewski. How are you, Drew? Good to see you, mate.
I don't play with 12 men behind the ball, by the way. I play with 14 men behind the ball, by the way.
You even got the stutter. You even got the slight stutter and the what am I doing? Let me get this camera. Yep. And the hesitation in. Very good. How you doing, Drew? Good to see you, mate.
I'm all right, mate. How are you? Big up chat. Big up chat. Don't forget to smash like, subscribe.
Smash like, subscribe. What is going on, mate?
Here? I don't know. It's a big old bag of shit, isn't it?
Mate, I haven't spoken to you since the Arsenal game online, I don't think.
No, it's because I've fucking buried my head in the sand and pretend that Spurs don't exist anymore. Look, I even got rid of Van der Ven can fuck off. See ya, mate, back in the fucking cupboard. Look, there's a couple of players up there know how to kick a fucking ball.
I'll tell you what, mate, if we're getting rid of people that didn't want to play for the football club, I think Ericsson and Kane can also disappear, can't they? By the end
but I didn't have anything else. I guess I could turn it around and just fucking promote AIA. Good that dude, do you know what I mean?
No, exactly, mate, exactly. Dear, oh dear, mate. Shawnee Dyche is being linked this morning. Darren Bent has come out and said he thinks he's the guy to go to. I mean, what are we doing here? The guy was brought into Nottingham Forest post-Ange to recover them, and he left them in 17th spot where they currently still sit. Right. What are we doing here?
Out of the relegation zone, by the way.
Just out of the relegation zone, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. It's a shit show from top to bottom. I mean, I very rarely go on to Twitter, but I was looking through the chat this morning and somebody posted something. So I then ended up going down a little bit of a rabbit hole. And I've got I was literally just going through notifications, and it is just one after the other of Michael Dawson says Tudor's already lost the players. Breaking news. Spurs are already considering a change, another head coach. Last word on Spurs. Spurs are not understood to have any immediate plans. Breaking news. Mauricio Pochettino says that he'll come back one way or the other. Chef Supreme breaking news. Vinay Venkatesham, fucking Nick Belcher and Colacott now take full responsibility of the men's first team. They'd like Vinay to resign, but he's probably not going to because he's on too much money. It's just literally one fucking thing after the other. It is unreal.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And I'm being funny, right? On this channel, I get accused during the transfer windows of being a clickbait. See you next Tuesday, right? And obviously this.
I mean, it's common space. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's just by Drew, by the way. That's just Drew that accused me of that. It's not everyone else. But I got to be honest, mate. Some of the headlines this morning, right? So Football 365 have come out with an article that says Igor Tudor sacked after triple loss as Tottenham's caretaker's final straw at football club remembered. He hasn't been sacked.
He hasn't been sacked.
The first line of the paragraph says Tottenham might genuinely have to consider sacking Igor Tudor. But the title of the article is Tudor is sacked after triple loss as Tottenham's caretaker final straw. This is Football 365. Absolutely insane. If you don't believe me, I'm sure you do. But let me share some of these some of these absolute debaucheries, right? This is the one. Oh, no, that's not the one. Sorry, this one here. Share this tab instead. Look at that. Tudor sacked after triple loss. Tottenham might genuinely have to consider sacking him. I mean, it's unbelievable clickbait.
So,
The next one.
so they're using past, future, and present tense all in one article. You know what I mean? What are we fucking doing here? These journalists, man, I swear to God, I pull my hair out what little I've got left of it. Like, I can't watch press conferences anymore. Like, I mean, in part because the managers we've had are worse than watching paint dry sometimes with their questions. But some of the fucking gods, their answers, but some of the questions are just diabolical. And I think this is just a reflection of that. I think it's all just fucking AI slop now.
So I woke up this morning and I was like, is there any Tottenham news? Because I'm finding Tottenham content really a struggle right now, right? And I thought, I go onto the news now and I find that one goes, Igor Tudor sacked. Holy shit. And I was like setting up the stream going, Igor Tudor sacked. And I was like, I haven't seen anything on the Spurs Talk Show WhatsApp group. No one sent me anything. I was like,
right.
So I'm like, okay, that's absolutely bollocks. I'll call that one out. And this one here, Igor Tudor kicked 5 players out of training as Tottenham concerns grow. And I'm immediately thinking, holy shit, this is from the Express, by the way, like a proper newspaper, not just a digital thing. I know they're like shitty newspaper, but it's still a newspaper with some level of journalistic, supposedly integrity. Igor Tudor kicked 5 players out of training as Tottenham concerns grow. So I'm thinking, oh, is this some follow-up to his thing saying the boats moving in the right direction? You know, you want on board the boat or you're not on board the boat. If you're not on board the boat, then leave. So I was thinking, who are the 5 players that he's kicked out of the Tottenham trade? It's not about that at all. The article's just referencing that when he went to France for the Marseille job, there were clear signs that the squad were instantly dissatisfied with Tudor's appointment, and he basically kicked out Brazilian midfielder Gerson, who was believed to have engaged in a fiery confrontation with Tudor, French fullback Jordan Amavi, Turkish winger Cengiz Under, who's a good player, Cengiz Under, Arsenal defender Nuno Tavares, and Senegal striker Bemba Dieng. Like,
there's nothing to do with Spurs at all.
Tottenham at all.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
It's unbelievable, the shamelessness of these journalists, mate. I feel like I'm going to give myself a new lease of life. I feel like I'm just going to come back out strong with the clickbaits. Tottenham are going to insert anyone there. And then, sorry, look, if it's good enough for the Express and Football 365, you best believe it's good enough for this barrel-scraping dross that is the Spurs Talk Show.
I don't make up the news, mate. I just read it. I don't make it up, mate. I just read it.
100%. How are you, Matt? Good to see you, mate.
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. It's been quite nice to have, I suppose, just a football-free sort of weekend, mate, to be perfectly honest. But, yeah, I don't know. It's been, I don't know, tough end to the week after Thursday, I suppose, being there and then, I don't know. I think I've just accepted it's probably going to happen, to be honest. I'm trying and deal with the process as best I can, mate. But then there's still the part of belief of me that maybe if you get someone new in, manager-wise, maybe like a Dyche or someone with Premier League experience, we might just be able to scrape out of it. But just drained from it all, to be perfectly honest, Sean.
Yeah, same, mate. Same,
yeah.
Absolutely same. I mean, let's talk about these options then, guys, shall we? So I'll start with you, mate. Sean Dyche. By the way.
You guys
before, haven't you?
Yeah. We've been on a couple. Oh, hello.
Yeah. Oh, Kinsky. I like you got a lot of lights, mate, in there. You've got more lights in your ceiling than Tottenham have got points in 2026. No, I don't know if that landed on Matt. I saw your lights, mate. You've got about 9 lights in your ceiling, haven't you? Anyway, you can eat time. I'm not sure if you can hear us.
Sorry, someone just came in the room. So yeah, no, there's a lot of lights. Yeah,
a lot of lights, mate. A lot of lights. What was I going to say? By the way, before we get into it, just a little thing. You know, on Football Inc., I wanted to tell everyone this. You know, on Football, for those of you who watch Football Inc., don't forget to smash like and subscribe over there as well. You know, we do the second teams. Drew, you know we do we picked an Italian team for everyone. We picked a French team.
You got Elche, didn't you? Didn't you have Elche and fucking?
I got Elche. The French team that Johnny got was Metz, right? And the Italian team that Johnny got was Cremonese. Do you know there's only 7 teams in the entirety of the top teams across Europe that have yet to win in 2026? Tottenham is one of them. Cremonese is another, Elche is a third, and Metz are the fourth. So of the seven teams in Europe that haven't won in 2026, between Johnny and I, we've got over 60% of them. We're the problem. Stell's been calling me the problem for 4 years. Maybe if I support it, maybe we are. You know. Absolutely.
I was just going to say, Sean, maybe we need saging. I was just going to say.
Piss in the corner, Sean. Sean.
Yeah,
piss
that's right, Sean. Piss in the corner, Sean.
Oh, dear.
God help us all.
Absolutely insane. Let's talk about these managers. Right? So Sean Dyche, right? Let me get Sean Dyche's managerial thing up. So Sean Dyche, where is it? Sean Dyche record at Forest. So Sean Dyche was appointed Nottingham Forest manager on October the 21st, but was sacked on February 12th after only 114 days in charge. During his tenure, he recorded 10 wins, 6 draws, and 9 losses across a total of 25 matches. In the Premier League specifically, 18 games played, 6 wins. So a 33% record. Look, he is like he's like a better version of a Sam Allardyce. Is everybody against this one? Like, would you roll the dice with Sean Dyche? Drew, I'll start with you.
I honestly think that if you were going to go down this route, you should have fucking route. Where am I? Am I English or fucking American? I don't know anymore. If you were going to choose this guy, you should have done it before you went to fucking Tudor, wouldn't you? Like, what was the folly?
Oh no! That bloody Danish pastry! He's in the house!
You bastard! You absolute bastard!
Very nice.
Very nice.
Like Hugo, how are you?
Yeah, honestly, big up, Hugo.
Morning, all.
Yeah, if you were gonna go down this route, you should have done that already. You should have realised that you needed a firefighter and somebody with firefighting experience in said league. Because it was all well and good going and getting this guy for what he's done in Italy, but it's like chalk and cheese. And I just think, I mean, to a man on this panel and probably in the chat, everybody knows that. I mean, we've been talking for years about how, whether you like it or not, whether you think the football is better or worse, the football is different in England to what it is across the rest of Europe. And the dude might have a little bit of something about him in terms of, he might be a strapping lad. He's 6'4". He looks fairly imposing, but it didn't feel right from the off. It felt like Vinay and Lang had we spoke about it last time. We're having the office clear out and they found a bit of paper in the drawer and they were just like, oh, let's try this guy because we haven't got a fucking clue. So yeah, I don't know whether Dyche is the right one or not. I don't know, but it just the whole thing just looks like I don't know. The whole thing just looks like an absolute debacle.
Matt, is there any chance you can change your camera to horizontal just for the symmetry of the stream?
Yeah, of course, mate.
Top man. Perfect. What are you saying about Sean Dyche, mate? Are you on board the Dyche experiment?
Well, I don't think he can be. Much worse, can he? I think what you're going to get with Sean Dyche, I think, now whether he's an arm around the shoulder type manager, which I do think some of these players need, rather than a discipline and saying how shit you are, basically in a press conference, in front of the whole media. I don't know. I feel like he would give him probably a bit of love, but tough love as well. He knows the Premier League. He's been in it this season, obviously, so he knows I suppose the standards. I think he'll make us harder to beat. I mean, it's so easy to get through our midfield and defence at the moment. I mean, it's like parting of the sort of sea, isn't it? I mean, it's just a joke. I mean, being there on Thursday watching it, live, you just see the players are so, whether it's lacking confidence, whether they can't be asked. He hasn't inspired him. It's clear to see for me. I suppose the only thing that's probably saved him is the fact that we obviously got this Champions League game, because I think if they had a week break before Liverpool, I think he would have been gone, to be honest, mate, after Thursday. And maybe the red card saved him as well. I suppose that's a bit of a get out.
Do you think the red card? Do you think the red card was? I mean, how influential was the red card? It looked like Igor Tudor blamed the red card almost entirely in his post-match. He kept going back to the red card, didn't he? Kept saying it.
We were getting. I mean, they could have scored in the first 50 seconds, couldn't they? With Adam Wharton, good save from Vicario. I mean, it was the amount of space we gave him on the ball and time just to pick a pass, move the ball quicker. I mean, they didn't really look like the biggest threat ever. You know, they had the ball quite a lot, but we looked like we could. I felt like we could have at least got a draw if we had 11. I'm not saying that was enough, but a point is better than 0 in the situation we're in. But no, look, I don't. Unless it's a Spurs man, maybe someone like Dyche is the right answer who can just get us a really ugly wins, or and he'll put round. I feel like he won't. He'll play a balanced side. He won't put square pegs in round holes. I don't think. I think he'll go back to basics. I think he would put a structure in and probably just stick to a formation rather than the chopping and changing, which we keep seeing every week, mate.
Yeah, I mean, let me sort of dive into that whole balance thing. I've heard a lot of people talking about this. I've been saying it for ages as well. Just want to see balance, right? Get back to square pegs and square holes. Play left-footed players on the left. Play right-footed players on the right. Play midfielders in the midfield. Don't play Pedro Porro on the right side of a centre back and a back three, like it's ludicrous. And that's all true. And I stand by all that. You're right there, Matt. You're trying to balance your phone, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, sorry, mate.
It's all right, mate. Hugo, let me ask you this, mate. A big up to you, mate. First of all, what's your thoughts on Shawnee Dyche? Second of all, whilst I completely concur, and I think Tim Sherwood said the same thing, who we'll talk about after this, right? But Tim Sherwood said, I'll go back to basics if I was to go in the right players in the right positions, which is all well and good, except what are you supposed to do if Micky van der Ven gets a 3-match ban? No, he's not. He's got a 1-match ban. But we don't have a left-footed, left-sided centre-back outside of Micky van der Ven. He's missing for the Liverpool game. You have a left-back in Sousa, who, for me, I know everyone thinks he's like, they're willing to give him sort of, I think they're giving him a little bit too much credit for the performances. I think he's looked like a fish out of water a little bit. I think it's too big for him at the moment. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good player, but like I've seen him do a couple of things, but I've also been incredibly nervous when he gets the ball. And so without him, you don't have a left back with a left foot. And even if you think he's the right guy, cool. Jed Spence coming back isn't going to solve that. He's not exactly offering balance on the left-hand side. We don't have a right winger at the moment because Odebear's injured, Hugo, as is Kudus, and they're not coming back anytime soon, I don't believe. Udogie's not coming back. So when people say square pegs in square holes, I'm totally on board it. I'm just not sure if we have enough square pegs for the holes that we have.
Agreed. The one thing that I would suggest, I mean, not that, my word counts for diddly shit, but at least what you've got with some of the kids, the academy boys, is that they actually give a shit about the club. And at this stage, I'm just like, is there that much of a discrepancy in quality between, argument's sake, Sousa and the starting left back for under 21s? And what I just want to, just sort of think is, like, it doesn't matter, in my opinion, at this stage of things. We don't need the next coming of Pep Guardiola. We need someone to come in who is a motivator and is going to get more out of the players that we do have available at this stage. Tactics are, frankly, at this stage, out the fucking window. It's just, as far as I can see, about every single one of the remaining games is a cup final. And you've got to go out there and just, every single player needs to give their all. And the reason I said about the under 21s is that at least, they're emotionally invested in the outcome. Whereas the majority of the players that we have out there at the moment have either got their eyes on where potentially they might be next season, or they just genuinely, just really don't care. They're just, clock in, clock out, take the paycheck. Thanks very much. I mean, if we do get relegated, how many players from our current squad do we keep? Maybe 5. All the rest of them, maybe the rest of them would be, like on their bikes. I mean, if I'm a top team in Europe and I look at some of the attitude of the players that think they're good enough to be going to those best sides in Europe, I think I'd probably be, having second thoughts just about, do I want that kind of character in my dressing room? Your likes of your Romeros, your likes of your Van der Vens, who have clearly got their mind elsewhere other than, doing what's best for Tottenham, playing best for Tottenham, and, taking us to safety with the aim of, being there for next season and pushing on. It seems to me there's just a general malaise. There's not enough, they don't care enough, and they're just checked out. And that's why I say I don't think you need a tactician to come in. I think you need someone that's a motivator that's going to get them to perform. That's it. We've looked, you look at all of the last few games. You tell me one player other than maybe that one game with Gray where you can say, do you know what? That player properly turned up and that player actually, played well. And by the way, that's not me sitting here saying that Archie Gray's, the next coming of Glenn Hoddle. I'm just saying, like, as far as delivering what he was capable of delivering, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Listen, I don't disagree with what you're saying there. I think especially with the outgoing players. I mean, it's a terrifying prospect of what's going to happen in the summer. On the day whatever it's the final day of the season is probably what, May 15th or something like that, around there. By May the 20th, you're going to have a raft of transfer requests being handed in. We've already seen even players that we thought, some people think that players like Dominic Solanke would go down with the ship and spend the season down there and come back up, right? But apparently yesterday, Newcastle United are sniffing around and sort of prioritising his signing in the summer should the worst happen. And according to those reports that came out, I don't know how true they are, Dominic Solanke would be open to the move. So
that's all right. He can take his resume of one decent season in his entire career, and he can, go ply his trade at Newcastle.
Yeah, but okay, that's fine. But that's another problem, isn't it? Like, if you would like some of the players that haven't really performed, that are technically good enough to get us out of trouble in the Championship, you'd like some of them to hang around that are not just 18 or 19 years old. You'd like Dominic Solanke. I was thinking maybe he's 26 years old, 27 years old. Maybe he would go down with the ship and be a little bit of leadership and be a little bit of experience to get us back up. He did play a couple of seasons in the Championship earlier on in his career, and you'd hope that you could spin the story to these people that it's a 1 year. I know you've only got a 15-year career or whatever, but it's 1 year. You're in a contract. You're partly responsible for why we're in the situation in the first place as an individual and certainly as a team. So, you have a little bit of I don't know, integrity about you and fix what you created.
Nowadays, you want integrity in a modern day footballer.
No, I don't want. It would be nice to see. I don't expect it. But I'm just saying.
It'd be lovely to see, but it's reality and fantasy. And I think that unless you have actually come through the academy, where you've grown up, and as you've grown up, from a boy into a man, you've been bleeding, lily white. Unless that's the case, you've basically been signed from somewhere else. You're being paid, a shit ton of money. So at the end of the day, whether you're playing at Tottenham Hotspur, whether you're playing at Chelsea, or, whether you're off on the continent and get signed there, I'm not sure. I mean, surely if they cared more, you'd have seen it, wouldn't you? I mean, the irony being is that Richalison, who we all say is, like trampoline foot and, like he's not good enough. At the moment, mate, I'd be starting Richalison over Solanke every freaking game I could if it weren't for the fact that he'd probably end up getting injured.
I think there's an argument for.
Wise,
I think there's an argument on attitude, but not. I don't necessarily think Dominic Solanke's got a bad attitude, but I think certainly Richarlison's got that more, maybe that fight and determination.
I just don't think that's. I just don't think genuinely. Bearing in mind that Solanke was signed supposedly as the Kane replacement. I mean, if you want to talk about gulfs of ability, of just attitude.
Well, that was always going to be the case, though.
Professionalism. Of course it was with this board, mate, because, they'll sell a gold bar to, bring in a freaking, dairy milk bar of chocolate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, don't say it isn't sweet. Don't say it.
No, it's literally, I mean, you're just like, and you take Harry Kane, Solanke, that one season he had at Bournemouth, he'd been at Liverpool, he'd stunk. He'd had, literally one decent season at Bournemouth, and our owners, again, goes down to this whole inability to recruit properly. What was it, 60 mil plus add-ons we paid for Solanke?
65.
65, sorry, plus add-ons. Meanwhile, just down the road, you've got the likes of, I mean, I know it was like a year or two after, but you've got like Brentford picking up Igor Thiago for what, 35, was it?
Yeah, that's just the gap. That's the golf in scouting. That's the golf.
Well, I know,
scouting.
but I'm the point I'm
making.
If
If Tottenham had signed Igor Thiago, Tottenham as the
there would have been
an
uproar.
That would have been uproar as well.
Yeah, but I mean, the point is that you should be signing Igor Thiago and someone else, right?
Yeah,
he should be like there to be the backup guy to the main guy. That's right. But
I think that people overly simplify that whole scouting thing. First of all, it's obviously incredibly difficult to find them. Well, it's not for these guys, but there's a pathway. Brentford have a pathway. Brighton have a pathway. These players come to those clubs knowing that the last guy that came to that club that did well got the move out. Tottenham were never trying to be a selling club. They stopped trying to be a selling club after Gareth Bale. And and I think that those sorts of things. I also think the fan base. I genuinely mean. I said this in the summer, and I genuinely mean it. People would have looked at the Savio deal if we got Savinho done at 50 million quid. If we'd got him done at 50 million quid, and in an alternative universe, if we paid 70 million quid for him, Tottenham fans would have been more excited by the fact that we paid 70 million than if we paid 50 million because they attach value to quality and like they attach price to value. And I don't think that's necessarily the right way to go about it.
We know that's not true because the only thing that actually determines the caliber of a top player typically is what their market value is deemed to be wages wise, not the transfer fee, but the wages.
Well, even then there's questionable stuff, right? Conor Gallagher, 200 grand a week. Has he landed?
No, he hasn't. But, I mean, you tell me in this particular current setup, when, he's been played every single which position, but the one that he's actually capable and has shown, being good at playing when he was in that role in the middle, at Chelsea. I mean, if you sign a guy who you want to be supposedly a difference maker, arguably, was that our position of greatest need? Probably not. But if you are going to sign him, and he's obviously a quality player, I mean, Pochettino had him as a captain at Chelsea, so he can't be that bloody bad. Started pretty much every single game for Poch, right?
I'd say quality player, but he was surrounded by Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying
you may have elevated him to be better than he looked.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at him in poor midfield now.
At least play him in the right position for
I agree with that.
More than one game, mate.
I mean, Manchester City, he had a good game, didn't he, in the 2-2? I thought he came out and well played in the second half. I mean, the guy's the guy's joined, doesn't he? And he hasn't won a game for Spurs yet. I mean,
no, I mean, to be fair, you could say the same about Gareth Bale when he first joined. Like, we couldn't win a game with Bale starting.
Yeah, but Conor Gallagher was brought in, or people that were sitting there saying, we've sold Brennan Johnson. We need a left winger, we need a right winger, we need some forward line, we need a left-sided centre back, or we need a midfielder that can pass the ball. And we got Conor Gallagher, the people that were attacking that signing, I think, at least have been vindicated on their logic that he doesn't really do too much different than what we already have in terms of people that run around a lot and work hard. But the people that were backing the signing were saying, well, what he brings is a fight, a desire, a leadership, and a caliber of his character and his personality that's going to, sort of live and breathe and succeed, hopefully, in the areas of the game in which Tottenham right now are really struggling, which is leadership on the pitch. But thus far,
yep,
he hasn't shown any of those things. And I take your point, Hugo, that he's been played arguably out of position, although he did play right wing at times in Atletico Madrid when they were trying to fit him around Koke and the other fellow whose name escapes me off the top of my head, when he was getting shoehorned in. He's not a right winger. He clearly isn't a right winger. But this is one of these problems with this versatility thing. I had this argument, this debate with Sim from We Are Tottenham TV all of last year about specificity versus versatility. Like specificity in certain positions, you need people that are just not jacks of all trades. You need masters of one. Sometimes versatility is a great thing because you can fit in, you can do a number of jobs if there's injuries. But if one of the people that gets injured is your versatile players, then you end up losing those options in every position that they can play, which is also a double-edged sword. But on top of that, if you are literally just a jack of all trades, like Archie Gray, then people just go, oh, you can do, you don't really have a defined position. Therefore, when we're short in a certain position, we'll just throw you in there because you're put under the versatile banner. And therefore, we think that we filled the hole, but we haven't. Like Archie Gray,
he's not honing his skills. He's not honing his skills in any one position.
And he hasn't been particularly good in any one position. I really appreciated Archie Gray's performance against Palace. I thought he was the best player on the pitch, but it's pretty low bar. But when he was playing left back against Fulham, I think it was Fulham, or was it Arsenal? He was absolutely out of his depth. And
Arsenal,
yeah. Was it Arsenal? I think it was Arsenal. Listen, guys, let me just press pause for 1 second because there's a few super chats and they've come in right at the start of the show, and I've been going for 40 minutes and I haven't even mentioned them yet. Give me 1 second, and I'm going to bring back in Drewski. Hope Drewski just went off camera for a specific reason and then come back in a little bit. Rat-a-ta-ta, Drewski. Rat-a-ta-ta. Big up to Box Kev. Big up, Boxy. Always here, always supporting in the most generous way, mate. Thank you very much, bro. I appreciate you, buddy. I love you, man. Hope you're okay, mate. Hope you're okay. Hope you build up the confidence to come on one of these shows. I know you're in the chat, and I know you're in the WhatsApp group, and the link is always there, but you haven't come on yet. So I'm looking forward to meeting you, man, and saying thank you to your face. But big up to you, Boxy. Thank you so much, mate. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. I just wish your name didn't begin with the letter K, because I'm not a huge fan of the letter K generally. That's why I call you Boxy. Always avoid K's if you can. If you know. Big up to you, mate. Thank you very much indeed, though. Big up to you. Ronald Cooper, big up to Ronster. How you doing, mate? Big up to you for the super sticker. Oh, I didn't do the super sticker on the last one. Choo-choo's going around here.
Choo-choo.
Super sticker train. Big up to Moki. Thank you very much indeed, Ronald. Appreciate you, man. Are you going out, by the way, Ronald? Are you going to Atletico Madrid? Let me know. Dino Chudini, are you going to Atletico Madrid tomorrow? Johnny Boy's not doing so well. He's a bit under the weather. But he's got an early start tomorrow to get out to Madrid. We're going to see how we get on. We're going to talk about the Madrid game as well in a minute. But we've got to get through the other managerial candidates. Big up to Chudini. Thank you very much, mate. Always supporting as well. Always very generous. And Super Blaine has said this is for Super Drew to say it's Tom Jones. Go on, Drew. You got to say it.
Well, boys, we are properly buggered, aren't we? Properly buggered.
Need a few laughs, mate. Big up, lads. Big up to you, Blaine. Big up to you, mate. Appreciate it.
I think Southampton have just won it against Fulham.
Oh, go on.
91st minute pen.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. Big up to you, Blaine. Thank you very much. And Guitar Fanatics. Man after my own heart, my man. Man after my own heart. There's a little Gibson down there. Love it. My favorite thing in my life, I think.
You flat bastard.
It's my pride and joy, mate. My pride and joy. Big up to you, mate. Thank you very much for the super sticker as well, Guitar Fanatics. Appreciate you. Right, Drew.
Hello.
Just to round off what we were saying there. So again, it comes back to this square peg, square hole things. Do we have enough? If Tim Sherwood, we're going to come to Tim Sherwood in a minute. Igor Tudor, I think, arguably has had some bizarre decision making with his squad selection, right? Like playing a back three and shoehorning Pedro Porro to the right side of a centre back is bizarre. And again, that comes back to like, do you come with your own style of football as a manager? Shouldn't you really, if you've only got one thing to do, which is organize a football team, shouldn't you be a jack of all trades with regards and versatile with regards your tactics? I know he plays with a back three without the ball and obviously a four with the ball, but you want to see Pedro Porro, if you're going to see Pedro Porro play his best, you want to be able to see him play a back three where when we have the ball, he has the license to get forward, but he gets shoehorned back to a right back in that role. And it doesn't work.
Right.
But if you were to bring in someone else, like a Sean Dyche, who would simplify it, get back to basics, like a Tim Sherwood, who would simplify it, get back to basics, aren't they all going to be limited by the square peg, square hole things? Because we might have a lot of square holes, but we don't have enough square pegs that are available. We just don't have enough right wingers. We don't have enough left-footed players to be able to be balanced. Is that fair, or is that
I mean, it is fair to a certain extent, but you would think, or at least maybe I'm just being fucking naive, but you would think that these guys would have enough professionalism in them. And you would think that given that they are in the top 1% of what it is that they do for a living, that somebody that is right-footed might be able to do a job as a left-sided centre-back for a few games and not be so thrown in the deep end by being asked to play that.
It's one game, mate. One game.
Right. I don't understand why. Tudor, I think, where he's got it wrong is I think he's trying to do too much. And like I said earlier, I think he's looking at this from the lens of Serie A, and you're in the Premiership, and this, I'm afraid, is just not working. You do have enough people in there that you could play a fairly solid 4-2-3-1. And you could just get a couple of banks, a bank of 4 and a bank of 2 behind the ball and just look a little more solid than you do.
Well, yeah, when was the last time you won with a back 5? Or sorry, back 3 and 2 wing backs? You tell me.
I'd honestly
probably under Conte, wasn't it? Probably
yeah,
under
it was under Conte, mate. It was that long ago. Like, there's muscle memory involved. Like, when they were interviewing, you have to assume that, they didn't only speak to Igor Tudor. Well, actually, with this board, who the hell really knows, right? But surely you'd have said, all right, well, these are the players we've got available. How are you going to play them? How are you going to maximize what you've got available? Yep, we got a whole bunch of injuries, but how are you going to get results through what we've got?
They probably didn't even ask him, Hugo. They probably just said, right, it probably wasn't even part of a question. Because they don't know anything about football.
But I mean, that's. I mean, you've got Lange. If you were to give Mr. Danish Pastry any sort of credentials,
bloody Danish Pastry, bloody hell!
Well, I haven't been. I haven't been wrong, have I?
And now we're going from a bloody Danish pasty to a Cornish pasty. Bloody hell! What the fucking folly?
Not even. What was it you came up with the other day? What was the black rice?
The what?
The risotto, Croatian black risotto, or something he came up with.
Yeah, it was. What was it? The Croatian
risotto or something.
Risotto Kuzna or something. Yeah, that bloody Croatian. Risotto.
That was him. He came up with a Croatian black rice.
Hugo, I was talking about you earlier with my man Teflon John. He was saying you're a wonderful addition to the Tottenham community. He goes, where did he go to school? I was like, I don't know, bloody Harrow or Eton or somewhere. Where did you go to school?
Eton.
Just let us know. Where did you go to school?
Radley.
Yeah. Oh, nice. So are you an army boy then?
Was I an army boy? No, I mean we had to do our like CCF stint.
Right. Okay.
But yeah.
Very nice, mate. Very
If
nice.
it makes it feel any better, though, I was put down at birth for Eton, but I didn't go because Radley liked better sporting side of things, and I was a sportsman.
And how old are you?
46.
So you would have been just a year ahead of Prince William at Eton. You'd have bullied the future king, bloody Danish bloody pastry.
I doubt I've got past his like the police that he had in tow. They had the they always roll with the what is it like special constables, whatever they're called.
Right, fair enough. Anyway, you were saying about what were we talking about?
There you go, Drewzilla. Teed you up, mate. You got it.
Brilliant.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Sorry, back to what were we talking about? Back to whether Dyche is it or whether the Croat was the right in the first place. I think the whole thing is just when you can go through any amount of headlines, you go through any amount of Twitter feeds, and you still don't know who is at the top actually pulling the strings and doing things, then I just don't know where we go from here. And the thing is that we can all sit here and say, oh, we just need something resembling a performance for the next sort of 10, 11 games. We haven't had anything resembling a performance for a couple of years. So I just don't know. We are so lacking in any kind of direction. And the line that we were fed is that this guy was the one that was going to come in, and he had the resume that ticked all the boxes for a team that was in this position. But again, chalk and cheese when you're dealing with Serie A and the Premiership, the Premier League. Like, I'm not. That's the last time I'll say it. But
I haven't really seen anything to suggest he's made us better. I don't see anything in these last 3 games.
Nothing.
It's actually got worse.
You'd have been better. I think at this point, you'd have been better off just fucking putting Johnny Heitinger in there for the last 12, 15 games, because at least the players, I would think, have some sort of respect. Obviously you've got a couple of the Dutch boys in there. There's no wonder Van der Ven's pissed off. I mean, I hate the fact that he's checked out, but there's also a part of me that can kind of understand it. I mean, I've had some bad bosses in my time.
Same.
When you have a bad boss, it trickles down. And not only a bad boss, but a bad boss within a bad company. Yeah, and we're all sitting there. If we were players and we're sitting in that dressing room and we are down to bare bones, like down to the threads, and we're thinking to ourselves, well, at least they've got to get a couple of bodies in, like at least a couple of warm bodies to lighten the load. And we're all sitting there come January 31st and nothing happens. And then Hugo goes down with another injury, and me, Matt and Sean are all looking at each other going, what in the actual fuck?
Yeah.
So I can, as much as I hate it and as much as we love the club and it's got to be for the club and we wear the badge and we support these guys, I get it. I hate it, but I get it, because this lot don't know how to fucking tie a shoelace.
No, well, that you also you've got your bosses. If you're a player, right, and you're playing for an organization, or you're working for an organization, institution, whichever way you want to look at it from a sporting or corporate side of things, is it's massively demotivating if it becomes abundantly clear that your leadership clearly doesn't give a fuck. It's massively demotivating, because then you're sat there and you're going, all right, well, if they don't care, why should I care? Right? And that's the point.
I hear you, right? But I've worked for a company. When I first got to Australia, I didn't have a Scooby-Doo about what I was moving into. I left the finance game, went to Thailand, and then ended up in Australia. And I got into this job, and within the first month of me being there, there was 60 salespeople on the floor of this one department, one location in Melbourne, but across the country in Australia there was 300 salespeople. 200 of them left within the first month. And I was like, what have I joined? What have I joined here? And I signed up to a visa thing out there. So I had to stay with them for 6 months, or I was going to get kicked out of the country. And I phoned my dad and I was like, what am I supposed to do? I think I've joined a company that looks like it's on its knees. And I had a shit manager, and I was like, what am I doing? I didn't really know what I was doing either. And my dad gave me some great advice. He said, out of adversity comes opportunity, right? Get your head down, learn the game, smash it, and work hard. And you 10 of the 15 people that were ahead of you in line for a promotion have just left the company. So you're now with it. And you know what? He was right, because 3 or 4 months later, they had hired a bunch of new people. The company sort of started to turn it around. And all of a sudden I was an indispensable member of the team, even though I'd only been there a few months, because I was more experienced than the rest. So I think that sometimes you can sit there and look at the environment around you, and you can say, oh, everything's to shit here. I'm putting my feet up because we're all going down anyway. This is absolutely terrible. But I think a real testament of someone's character, I'm not giving myself credit for this, because I probably, had it not been for that advice, I probably would have also checked out. But I think that I hear what you're saying, Drew. They're only human beings, right? And they're going to be upset with the situation, and they're not going to like it. And they know that if Tottenham go down, the better players, that they're going to be okay. But I think a real character, a real sign of the character of someone is how do you react, not in the good times, but in the bad times. And I think, that, I was listening to Danny Baker talking on TalkSport, and he was saying, look at the back four, right? Look at the teams that are interested in the back four. You've got Udogie, who's wanted by Milan. You've got Romero, who's wanted by Atletico Madrid. You've got Van der Ven, who's wanted by basically everybody. And you've got Pedro Porro, who's wanted by most of the possession-based teams in Europe. So they're all going to be okay if we go down. All right. Those teams are probably never going to face relegation. But are those teams not also looking at the situation at Tottenham and going, you've got a back four that everyone looks at the individuals within that back four and are thinking you're all top players, but when tough times hit, you all can't be bothered. None of you, you're all arguing with yourselves. You suddenly lost the ability to pass the ball. You suddenly don't have any confidence in what you're doing. Like, is there...
Well, this is why professionally I'm so disappointed, Sean. This is why, I said earlier, like, yes, I'm aware of the fact that it's all crumbling down, and I can understand from a human point of view them all being like, well, fuck this. But the counter to that is from a professional standpoint, yeah, it's absolutely disgraceful that you all can't come together in a huddle and look each other in the eyes and say, fucking hell, what are we doing? We're professionals here, because they do not look like professionals at the moment. They look like amateurs.
No.
And to a man, this entire squad, you only have to go back 8-10 years. To a man, none of these players are fit to lace the boots of the team that Poch had. Not necessarily the one that Poch built, because I don't necessarily know that he built that team, but he coached it to a level that had us all on the edge of our seats and all enjoying football, regardless of the fact that we didn't actually win anything. Like, he won our hearts, everybody. He won our fucking hearts. But those four that you've just said, Udogie, I take Rose any day of the week. Van der Ven, I take Vertonghen any day of the week. Romero, I take Alderweireld any day of the week. Do you know what I mean? And I can go through man for man.
But none of those players joined Tottenham. Like, people think, but you have to think about this. Remember it the right way, because everyone, I think, remembers that period of time as like the halcyon days, the golden era of Tottenham for our generation. There was obviously previous generations that were brighter, but for our generation, it was the best. That was the best generation of footballers at Tottenham. But none of those players came to Tottenham as superstars. None of them came as a Ginola. None of them came as a Jurgen Klinsmann. None of them came as a Raphael van der Vaart. Like Alderweireld and Vertonghen, okay, they had a little bit of form before they got here, right? Sonny was a decent player, like an up and coming kid, but
Alderweireld couldn't make it at Madrid, right? He was at Southampton, and we nicked him for about 13 million.
He was on loan. He was still owned by Atletico.
Right.
He was on loan at Southampton, wasn't he?
And then we signed him.
Yeah. Where did we get Danny Rose from? Leeds, was
Leeds.
it? Leeds. Yeah, I think it was Leeds, right?
Yep.
So he was a kid.
Walker.
Where did we get? We got
Walker
Kyle.
was Sheffield United, along
Sheffield
with
United.
Carl Walker,
Norton.
Yep.
Yeah, like so. This notion
We've never
of like,
really bought massive superstars, have we?
And then
Have
Lloris.
really?
we've never bought
was
superstars.
at where? Nice?
No.
Was it Leon or Nice?
Leon.
Who was that? Who was at Leon?
Lloris.
Lloris, yeah. Ericsson came from Ajax.
Yeah.
Another up and coming.
Do this all day long, boys.
Dele came from
She should have done Kate and Jim's quiz yesterday.
Dele came from Milton Keynes.
Oh, that quiz from circa 1999. Yeah, brilliant.
No, right? Dele Ali came from Milton Keynes.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, like you can make the argument that team that we put together was like the Brighton model or the Brentford model of today.
Before they did
harnessed by a good manager that was great at coaching those sorts of players. And obviously the energy around the football club at the time was very promising, right? Because we'd gone from like the really poor days before Martin Jol.
Energy universal. Energy universal. Lemons in a bowl. Energy universal.
You sound like Pascal Chimbonda.
Yeah, there you go. I'll take
I like
it.
Pascal. Don't you ever speak bad about Pascal?
I do like Chimbonda, actually.
Oh, Pascal Chimbonda. La ta.
You don't remember Lee? You don't remember Lee at left back?
Pyongyang Lee. Yeah.
Lee, yeah. But listen, my point being that, like, so you take the ingredients of like a young, hungry squad of potential, you pair it with the manager that was good at that, and you also take the energy. And I think there's the massive missing piece of the puzzle for Tottenham right now, the comparables. People looking at bringing back a Pochettino in the summer post World Cup and putting him in this environment, entirely different. Because back then in 2015, he came in or something like that. 2014, 2015, he came into a team that had just got off the back of Martin Jol, got off the back of Harry Redknapp, who almost got us to the promised land of the top four, the Champions League for the first time. Obviously, we had Lasagna Gate. We finally got, and then Pochettino takes over, and then at the same time, we're building the new stadium. We got to play. We were looking forward to playing at Wembley. We had like 85,000 people watching games, like the North London Derby. Like a giant transition from the White Hart Lane days, and all of the promises and the expectation of the game-changing stadium to come. That energy and that wind in your sails makes the sum greater than the parts. And so, for me, right now, like, you put these players in a happier environment. To get back full circle to your point, Drew, about people playing in an environment with a manager they don't particularly like, and for a club that's looks like it's in disarray with decision making, and it's a terrible company on paper. Even though it's not, but like on paper at the moment, short-term vision, it looks like a club, a company, and a football club or whatever, an organization that doesn't know what it's doing. You've got dislikable people in the coaching team, or at least maybe they're just their method of trying to invigorate some positive energy out of a negative bowl of shit show is rubbing people up the wrong way. And you've got players that can't wait to get out of the toxic environment. I don't care who you put in. You put Pochettino in right now, it doesn't matter. But if you were to put these same players that we have now, you would have put the Berghvalls, and you would take the Xavi Simons, you take the Kuduses, you take the back four that we've got. Like I've said, I've already made the point. I think it's pertinent that the back four is desired by some of the biggest teams in Europe. Okay, so they're not bad players. Mm-hmm. You take all of that same squad, but you put it back in the environment of 2016, 2015. Do you not think we would be able to get something more out of this squad? Obviously, Harry Kane is different. Harry Kane was was a unique additional value. But he only kind of, I mean,
but Harry Kane at that stage
wasn't the Harry Kane
was only having to be a number 9. He wasn't having to be a number 10 as well, because you had Eriksen sitting there. So
yeah, but so my point is that I don't think that the fully fit squad that we have is as bad. People think of this squad as the squad that's available right now. When I hear people saying this is the worst Tottenham squad we've ever had, I think they're reflecting on the fact that we have Mathys Tel and Odebears and that. But I think people are forgetting Kulusevski's a good player, right? Maddison's a good player.
Well, yeah, but hang on a second. Will they ever be again, though?
Well, maybe, probably not. Yeah, probably.
They'll give us 10 to 15% extra, though. Easy.
Is, my argument to that is, if you knew there were going to be long-term injuries, and there's the chance that you're not going to get back the player isn't going to be the same as when they got injured, why haven't they been replaced?
Well, yeah, that's because of poor decision making at the board level.
Yeah,
it's not even poor decision; it's no decision making. That's it. They've made no decision to do anything, and that's often the problem that they've had. Is when it came to Thomas Frank should have been sacked back in November, probably, right? And yet, with this inability to make any sort of decisions, because whether it be that because he was brought in as, Lange's buddy, or, what's his face, or whether it be Vinay, whoever it was that made the decision, right? That they didn't want to eat humble pie and admit that they'd put the wrong person in the job. So it's just like, oh, no, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. On we go. It's just, at the moment, it's, I don't know. I don't see, unless your mate, Brooklyn Eric, what's his name?
Brooklyn Eric. Yeah. I'm still waiting to hear on that interview.
Unless he or such like comes in and buys our club and shows the kind of levels of intent that, for argument's sake, the 1.3 billion pounds worth of working capital would have suggested that would have been true, whether it be
as long as you have great decision makers, right?
Well, yeah, but you've got a lot better chance of getting in the right decision makers if, first of all, you look like an attractive proposition for the decent people to want to go anywhere near it to begin with, right?
Sure.
And at this stage, if you're one of the big boys in the game, are you going to go somewhere that's going to pay you a little bit more money and be in the middle of a shit show, or are you going to go where they pay you a little bit less and you know that you're surrounded by, for the most part, what you need to succeed? You're going to need
You also need the decision makers suffering the consequences of whether their decisions are bad or good. And when Vinay, and for want of for Lange apparently as well, said no, Frank is doing what the plan was, and we don't want to get rid of him, and then they were undercut, and that decision was taken out of their hands, then the reality is all decisions should have been taken out of their hands at that point in time. Yeah. Because they are no longer, they can now very clearly sit there and go, we didn't want to get Tudor. We wanted to stay with Frank. And now nobody within the club is taking responsimbility for their actions, because actions have consequences.
Yeah, but Rain, we were told.
If you're not going to...
Remember the club PR lady, the new one that came out and used the media mouthpieces to relay to us that, in fact, you remember the new PR lass that they hired?
Sorry, you mean the BS lady? Sorry. Right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Right. Sorry. I heard PR, but my brain said BS. Right. Okay. Just getting that ready. Yeah.
You remember that where we were then told that although we'd heard reliably that in fact potentially even Big Joe had been consulted about it, that it was actually Lange that had, and Vinay that had made the decision to hire the very guy that Lange's former colleague had actually advocated for. So I mean,
I've already lost track. I'll be honest.
No, but I mean that's the convoluted bullshit. I mean they can't even. I don't think the club can even keep up with their own lies. That's the problem, Honestly, they're like the biggest problem we've got is that our leadership is the biggest conglomerate of sociopaths known to humanity, mate. Everything, is a lie. Everything just gets.
Do you guys think that
and just it's a fucking disgrace.
Absolutely, 100%.
Let me ask this, Let me ask a specific question, Wayne, and I'll bring Matt in as well. Are you of the point, right, where, Brooklyn Eric, for example, I've spoken to the guy. I'm waiting to hear back from him. He said he's speaking to his legal team, and hopefully we can get on an interview next couple of weeks, right, next week or two, hopefully. I don't know, but my questions to him would evolve, would surround the idea of what's your plan? Primarily, obviously, do you just want the Daniel Levy stake? If the football clubs, if the other owners are still not willing to sell for whatever reason, God knows why they're not willing to get out of this mess, considering how much of a shit they're making of it all and the pressure that they're under. But to me, as much as I'd love to chat to the guy, I'm not going to sit there and pretend like I wouldn't have reservations about a guy that has no experience in the game of football, coming in, even if he does have a giant bank balance of wealthy investors that want to put 1.5 billion in or 1.3 billion. I'd still be saying, all right, before we get to find out how we're going to spend it, I'd like to find out who your intentions are around who is going to be deciding what it's spent on. And to me, I'm not at the point anymore where I'm saying be careful the devil you don't know, because the devil we do know is terrifyingly poor at the moment, right? But what are we supposed to expect from Amanda Staveley, from Wing Fi, from Brooklyn, from any of these guys or some other third, fourth party, like they would also need to present to me in order for me to back it, an idea of who it is that's going to be brought in to run the football club. Because you look at Chelsea, just last thing, sorry, Frank. You look at Chelsea and they brought in, Todd Bowley came in, and all right, they're doing okay. They're doing a lot better than Tottenham, but this is their fourth or fifth season. And apart from the Club World Cup, which they qualified for before they got there, if it wasn't for the Club World Cup, their only success would have been the Conference League, which West Ham won, and they've got equally as bad owners as Tottenham Hotspur have got. And they've spent nearly £2 billion out of a fortuitous set of circumstances because of the war in Russia. And they really haven't been competing at the top, have they? They haven't been in a title challenge or anything else. And for the sort of money that Chelsea have spent, you'd expect there to have been better.
Sure, they've also not been anywhere near the bottom half of the table.
No, I know, but you'd expect them.
But you say that, Hugo, but and Sean, you might have a better take on this. For all their little tricks, which their year-on-year tricks, their accounting tricks to get them out of trouble, their finance problems have not gone away. I think they've still got sustainability and reliability problems, right? And it's just going to catch up with them. Now, I completely agree.
I don't know. I've been waiting for this for 4 years and it still hasn't caught up with them. So I don't know.
Well, they've taken the exact same model as Man City, where they've got the very top lawyers on retainer, which means, and they've got way deeper pockets than the FA, which means if you go to court or you litigate, then effectively you've got, not only have you got access to the very best lawyers available, right?
Yeah.
So I've worked from American companies, and when Blue Lake came in and they cleared everybody out and they brought in a whole new set of people, that made sense
my
to me.
Haircut on Monday, by the way,
because that's because that's absolutely the way that's the way that American owners and companies in general work. They like to it's the way that American administrations in general work. They clear out, they bring new lot in, and that would be, Sean, a concern. Is Eric? I'm not sure. Is he going to come in and is he going to learn on the job? Is he going to? How many mistakes? How over a couple of 2 or 3 years of learning how football works, and it's a very particular industry. How many mistakes is he going to make? Learning how to make that work over 2 or 3 years, because in football you can't afford 2 or 3 years worth of mistakes.
Is Staveley part of? Is Staveley part of that thing? Would it be him?
No, that's she's with Wing Fire, whatever, isn't she?
No. The last we heard was that he was willing to work with Wing Fire, and that she's according to whoever it was, Team Talk or something, that put out the story that they.
I mean, by the sounds of it, the dude's not stupid, right? If he's literally going to come in, if he's got a group of people, or he's clever enough to get a group of people together, come in, buy the club, put 1.5 billion of working capital or whatever in there, he's not going to come in, do that, and then just go, right then, what are we doing?
I hear you, but isn't that exactly what the ENIC majority owners did? They plied a coup against Daniel Levy. And then it's not really a coup because they obviously are already the owners, but they got rid of the guy that they felt for whatever reason was doing something that was either it was a strategic PR spin to go, the club's in disarray, we finished 17th last year, let's throw someone to the wolves, right? Who's going to be the fall guy for our temporary poor performance? Daniel Levy's the guy that everyone seems to hate, so let's throw him to the wolves. Let's let them eat cake, right? And then they've essentially organised a coup in that regard, but then they haven't come in with any plan. They have absolutely no plan, and the plan that they did have that that Vinay put together, they've basically unravelled inside of 6 months. And then this next iteration of the plan, which is Igor Tudor, well, I mean, I don't know at what point do it's to me, it's like a PR disaster either way. If they stick with Igor Tudor and they go down, then first and foremost, you've got people like Johan Lang and Vinay that are going to sit there rubbing their hands because they were essentially overruled by the non-footballing people, right, Drew, on whether to keep Thomas Frank. And then the guy that left because he said on his exit interview he wasn't being heard, his ideas weren't being heard. Well, he wanted to bring in Igor Tudor a couple of months earlier, but that plan hasn't fucking worked out either. So, like, if Vinay and Johan Lang still have any say at all in the decision making, and according to reports, they don't.
Do they?
I don't think they do. But if they don't, then they're sitting there going, "Well, your option hadn't done any better." So they're probably, from their own self-preservation, their own PR, their own personal brand perspective, sitting there probably quite happy at the moment.
To play devil's advocate, when Paratici wanted to originally bring in Tudor, that would have probably been in like November time, right?
Yeah.
Which then not only would have afforded him 2 months up until January to see like what he had and whatever else to be able to, hopefully get things turned around, but also then would have given him the January window, which I'm sure if you'd have had Paratici in there still, and he
would have got a couple of loans.
Out, there'd have been a couple of loans that he would have brought in for Tudor to have helped him, because again, like working with his guy and that kind of synergy, right? But the point is, again, that they've gone and hired Tudor, 4 months later than when he was intended to be brought in to start with. So it's just you're not bringing in. What they've done is they've brought in. I think we all can agree that it was pretty obvious that, the ship was going down with Thomas Frank. But unfortunately, what they've done is they've brought in the wrong guy at the wrong time. Or they brought in, maybe he might have been the right guy in November. But when it's panic stations and it's Dunkirk without the boats time, maybe that's not the time for Igor Tudor to come in with the players that we have available, and available is the key word right now.
But it's also,
and I don't think nobody saw their injuries coming, right, Matt? I mean, you can't.
No.
As bad
honestly,
as the
mate,
injuries were last year, no one saw it
worse.
coming again
I think
this
they're
year.
worse
Right?
now. I think they're worse now, to be honest. I think if you,
but we knew about them in January, though.
No, yeah, you did, yeah. But if you put our level of injuries into any, I'd probably say any of the top six, I think they would struggle. I think if you did it to Arsenal, what we had, I think they would struggle, to be perfectly honest.
The amount of injuries.
I think
but if you take out Van der Ven, if you take out Van der Ven,
it's been compounded by bad decisions.
Saliba and Gabriel. If you take out Van der Ven and Romero, that's Saliba and Gabriel, right? Then you take out Maddison and Kulusevski. That's Eze. That's Martinelli, whether it's Trossard. Then you take out the striker for 6 months. That's no Gyökeres. Then you take out what?
Yeah,
the injuries, no left back.
If the injuries hadn't occurred, and I do remember seeing a stat saying in the last, I think it's 18 months, Tottenham have never had fewer than 6 players from their first team squad.
But if you look at it,
one time, up to a maximum of 15. So between 6 and 15, at minimum 6, and the average for the rest of the Premier League is maximum 5.
But if you look at it, all the players. If you look at it boils down to the lack of depth in our squad, right? Because you then there's such a drop off between what would be our ideal starting 11.
Is there?
Is our bench?
I don't think there is.
Well, all I can say is then as soon as you then basically start to get to a situation where you've got your starting players are starting, you get one.
Is there a huge difference between Berghvall, Sarr, Gallagher, Polinia, and Archie Gray? Is there a massive difference in the midfield? If you're going to pick 2 of those 5, is there a huge difference between those 5?
I think you've got to. Well, Paulinho, you would say, comes with more credentials and plaudits than all of them, and Gallagher, right?
Yeah, but Polinia hasn't been injured.
If you had to pick,
Polinia hasn't been injured though.
No. But my point being here is that where you've then had a situation whereby players have evidently been overplayed, which led to our right wing injury situation. for for both.
Yeah,
players.
the right wing situation, like losing Odegaard, I think was a massive problem.
Yeah, but
Right?
before him, Odegaard, was being overplayed, having been played incessantly down the left, as it turned out. He then, as soon as what's his face got injured, he then got shoved onto the right wing,
Sure,
and was being played all the time there. There's
that's the difference between. So what I'm saying is the depth of the squad, where you still have square pegs in square holes to play, versus having nobody to play. We don't have any right wingers right now. We have one left winger in Mathys Tel, who most Tottenham fans think is dog shit, right? But I'm saying, like, it's one thing to have when you talk about the depth of the squad.
Yeah.
Like to Matt's point, losing Gabriel and Saliba. Okay, well, you've still got Hincapié. You've still got the Dutch fella whose name I forget. You still
Timber.
Timber. Yeah. You've still got quality. You still got Ben White. You've got quality players that can drop in, right? I mean, who's the ex-Brentford captain who went to Arsenal? He's played about the grand total of about 10 minutes of football.
Norgard.
Right?
Yeah.
Insane. He hasn't played at all, right? Eze plays a little bit more now, but he for the majority of the season, he's barely got any minutes because they got so much depth. Whereas Tottenham, to make the argument that I take the point that if you lose everybody from the position that you've got options in, that then there's a massive drop off. Obviously, there's no square peg for that square hole. But the difference between like Odegaard, Tel, and Kuno, I don't think is that stark. I think people want to reflect on Kudus being some game changer. He very quickly became a bang average player for Tottenham.
But you look
when he was triple marked because we had no left winger, and teams worked out they didn't need to bother defending their right hand side against us.
We know he was injured as well. He was playing.
But you look at Porro, right? You look at Porro,
60% injury or whatever it was. He was half fit in certain games. You could see it. The pace was gone, the touch was gone, the power was gone, and then he bloody buggered his quad.
Yeah.
But you look at Porro, right? He was clearly overplayed, right? Because Spence, who was meant to be his covering, his backup right back, if you will, was having to be played left back because Udogie, just like Sessegnon, has optional hamstrings. So then you've got a 19-year-old kid that's meant to be brought in to be the backup to Udogie.
But he wasn't the intended target, right? We were trying to get Robertson, right? Robertson,
yeah, of course he was. But at the end of the day, Liverpool said no, or for whatever reason.
Yeah, and we didn't have a plan B apart from a 19-year-old.
No,
yeah, which is, again, catastrophic.
But it all stems between squad depth and again, like who you target to begin with. That surely boils down to Lange and or McKenzie. Surely that is their remit, is it not?
No, 100%. You're not going to sit. I'm not going to. You're never going to hear me defending anybody in the decision-making department at Tottenham Hotspur. Not at all. Right? 100% no. I'm just saying that for me, like the drop-off, when we've had 15 injuries at times, and we're still able to put out a team that yes is riddled with injuries, and yes it's not great, but the gap between our almost full strength 11 that was available at the start of the season, excluding Kudus and Maddison that were long termers, excluding those two that would obviously be participating, the difference between Richarlison and Solanke is not that big. The difference for me between Mathys Tel on the left or Odegaard or Kolo Muani is not that big. The difference between on the right, Kudus, Muani. As I say, Kudus is obviously a better player than the others, but I think he got found out very quickly. And in the midfield of the park, we have all the same character profiles. Paulinho is very good at doing his defensive work, can't really participate in progressive offensive football. Conor Gallagher so far hasn't landed in any way, shape, or form. Pape Sarr, terrible passer of the ball, but fantastic at what he does well, which is getting around and covering blades of grass, and his interception and his interpretation of the game is impressive. Berghvall, is he a massive loss? Sometimes people think he is. Other times when he plays, I hear people saying he's absolutely rubbish, doesn't know what to do. He's a headless chicken. I'm just saying, I think when people make this argument, like with the exception of a couple of notable long-term injuries, with the exception of that, the difference between our first 11 and the squad that we've got when there's 14, 13 injuries, I don't think is that big. I think we have a relatively shallow drop-off in quality. That's not because I think the squad is great. It's because I don't think the squad is good enough at the highest end of the quality. We don't have enough superstars in the team. We haven't got any sprinklings of absolute talent. If people just say, where's your superstars right now? People would probably say a motivated Micky van der Ven. But at the moment, you have a demotivated Micky van der Ven, an unmotivated Micky van der Ven, and an unmotivated Micky van der Ven, especially when he's playing on the left side of a back three. He doesn't know whether he's supposed to go off to the left and help the fullback out. He doesn't know if he's supposed to sit in deep and tuck in and mark a centre back, like a late running midfielder or a striker. And so he's caught in no man's land. Against Arsenal, he was atrocious. His head has dropped. Romero, on his day, class. On his day, class. Right? But you're not going to sit there and convince me that over the average performances of the season, that Romero has been that much better than Kevin Danso. I think Kevin Danso is nowhere near the individual potential quality of a motivated, on-form, focused and concentrated and up for it Romero. But the version of Romero that we've seen this season, for me, has been relatively indifferent. It might have peaks of awesomeness and troughs of absolute atrocity, but Kevin Danso is a steady sort of 7 out of 10 most of the time. And so I don't think there's that much difference. I don't. Maybe, Romero and Van der Ven have scored a few goals at the top end of the pitch, but for every goal that Romero has scored offensively, he's been responsible positionally for the goals we've conceded at the back.
The difference is between, I don't disagree with you in terms of first team. Yeah, you're talking 2 to 5%, maybe, between that quality, which can be massive, but it's still not what we're seeing. But the biggest drop off, Sean, is the fact that we've got the first team, the right quality players up here. We've got the kind of okay players who are like, the Archie Grays, the Berghvalls, the Sarrs, the squaddies who should be in and around. We've then got no one because we've sent all of our half decent academy players out on loan. We've sent them all away. We sent all of those players who can come in and give us 20 minutes, half an hour every 3 games. We sent them all away. And so what's left on the bench right now is 16 and 17-year-old kids. Yeah. That's the biggest drop-off. The biggest drop-off is that these players are now the only people who can play football.
So when Micky van der Ven gets sent off against Crystal Palace, they have to bring on 2 players that aren't to cover the absence of him. They have to bring on a midfielder a midfielder and who was it? It was Bissouma and Conor Gallagher. So 2 midfielders, right? Because they haven't got a centre back on the bench.
Rather than a 21-year-old Phillips or a 19-year-old Vuskovic who can do that job. Yeah. And are on the, and we're, again, Spurs, we're massively arrogant. We're like, send all these players out on loan. We need to develop them. And I was sitting there, I'm going to do the YouTube thing. I was sitting there in the summer and I was looking at people going, they need to go out on loan. They need to go out on loan. And I was like, this is Tottenham Hotspur we're talking about. They're going to bloody play. They're going to play if they stay at our club.
I remember the Vuskovic conversation was mental to me.
Yeah. If you're going to send him out on loan,
he fucking will play at Tottenham Hotspur. He will play at Tottenham Hotspur. But you know what? Vuskovic for me is probably going to be the greatest player that Tottenham have ever had that's never played for Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
He will never play I don't think he'll ever play for Tottenham. Yeah, that's really fucking terrifying.
Especially if we get relegated. There's no way he's playing in the Championship.
Well, it's tough tits, mate. I'd make him honour his contract. I'd be like, do you know what? Rather than send you out on loan to what we deem to be a lower-rated league, tell you what, you can come and cut your teeth in the Championship.
Yeah, that's what my brother said, to be fair. But this board don't have a backbone to do that. They'll just see the money and go, Barcelona, whatever it will be, or Bayern Munich, 50 million, 60 million. Thank you very much. We'll cash in.
I think if we stay up, I think he comes back and is part of the first team. I think if we go down, we say to him, all right, you stay where you are, play a year with your brother, sign a contract for a year extension.
Why? Why do you leave him there? Why
not?
Wouldn't he be better if he thinks that he's not ready? Oh, have you lost me? If you think that he's not ready for the Championship, for the Premier League.
It's not about not being ready. It's about keeping the players sweet. At that point, it's about, all right, I think that if he's going to kick up a stink about coming back and wanting to play in the Championship, and you're scared of losing him, I think there is a happy medium. And I know it's, it's not all about player power and stuff like that, but I think if it comes to it, I think there's a possibility there where you say, hey, how about you stay out in Germany for another year, you play with your brother, we'll come back up, and this is worst case scenario. I don't even want to be talking about it. I don't even want to be suggesting. I don't want to even want it in the zeitgeist.
Has he shown any loyalty to Tottenham? We've already approached him and his agent. We let him go on loan. We let him go on loan to Hamburg, right? And now he wants to stay there so he can play with his brother. Right. I think that the only way that that's even a possibility for me is if he signs a new contract and it extends it out by an extra 2-3 years, and you put a giant release clause over 100 million quid in there, something mad like that. Otherwise, no. And if you don't think you're good enough to play in the Premier, if the reason why I wanted to go on loan, if he was sincere, if it wasn't just I want to go and play with my brother, if it's I don't think I'm good enough, when I look at how good Romero and Van der Ven are, the guy gets 9 out of 10. He gets man of the matches. He's like the Bundesliga player of the month every single bloody month. Right, so at this stage, the Bundesliga is not as competitive as the Championship. So you bring him home, unless if he really wants to stay there. Then if he wants us to show him some favor so he can play with his brother because it's like a boyhood dream, cool. But that only happens. That only happens if you sign a massive extension on your contract with Tottenham, and that you commit to coming back to Tottenham next year. And
also,
it sets from Bayern Munich or anywhere else is dismissed.
It sets a precedent that basically, what value does a contract have at Tottenham Hotspur if you can, if you pander to, the players, like wants or whatever else? No, you've got a contract with Tottenham Hotspur, whether it be in the, if you don't have a clause in your contract that lets you out of it upon relegation, then tough tits, mate. You're going to play for Tottenham Hotspur. We want to try and, if we get relegated, I mean, you have to hope that these owners want us to get back to the Premier League. Then you consolidate what players you do have that you've got on the books that aren't going to, be fire sailed. And you say, okay, we're going to, have the best players that we have available playing for us. And that's it. I'm fed up of this rubbish narrative that just because, bros over in fucking Germany or whatever else who got done on a drugs charge, tough tits, mate. You're not owned by,
I don't get it. I honestly don't get it.
By Tottenham Hotspur. You come
I don't get it.
Hotspur.
When my employer tells me I need to go and visit a client up in such and such, then I go and do it. I don't go, oh, actually, I don't fancy it. I've got a family thing and I'd quite like to stay. I'm like, job comes first.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you go and do it. You go and do what your employer asks you to do. And if you don't like what your employer is asking you to do,
do we know what the actual stance is? Do we know what the actual stance is of the player, or is this all just hypothetical folly? Because if it's all just hypothetical folly and we don't know what the dude wants and we're all just talking in circles, then let's talk about something else. Let's say hello to this guy over here. Who's this guy?
This is Johnny Boy, Teflon John. Big up to you, Johnny Boy. How are you,
what up,
mate?
John?
Hi, gents. How are you all going?
All right.
Yeah, good,
all
mate.
right.
We're having an argument about Luka Vuskovic right now. Whether or not what would you say, John? You're a life coach. You're a business coach. Would you say to Luka Vuskovic, we understand you want to play with your brother, but you're a top draw centre back. You're one of the biggest talents in Europe, and you are owned by Tottenham Hotspur. Well, not owned, but you're employed by Tottenham Hotspur, and we're the people that took a punt on you. We've given you the first year. You come back. If you didn't think you were good enough for the Premier League, we're now playing in the Championship. So if we are playing in the Championship, so you're more than capable on that level. Are you going to come back and play, or do you say, all right, we'll let you go and stay with your brother for a year?
Well, he's had a year's loan, isn't he? Which is what he asked for. He didn't ask for 2 years and including one of them to play with his brother. He signed a contract, as the other guy said, to play for Spurs. It's a long contract. Whether the club deem it worthy, useful or not, to keep him loaned out for another year, which is what Spurs tend to do, don't they? We loan out players that are better than the players that we've got available.
His current contract finishes in 2030, I believe, which means if we were to loan him back out again, we would have 2 years. By the time he comes back at the end of next season, you'd be walking into the 27, 28 season. And that would mean that he'd have 2 years left on his contract. So you'd get a year out of him and then you'd have to sell him.
They'd have an extension.
That's why I think we'd really want him to sign the extension if the agreement was he stayed there, right? I think that was kind of the universal. Sorry, John, talking.
He has to sign an extension.
Yeah,
but allegedly Tottenham have been trying to speak to his agent, saying we're happy to up your wages, we're happy to sign you up. Just commit. Similar to Micky van der Ven. This is why not to go off the topic here, but Micky van der Ven's earning what 50, 60 grand a week, right? And he refuses to sign a new contract. Cool, but you've still got 5 years left on your contract, so you could be earning 150 grand a week, mate. But you're happy to stay on 50 because you think it's going to edge your exit closer. No, and especially if my man Daniel Levy was smart enough to put a 50% relegation release clause in, I'd love to see the Micky van der Ven come down into the Championship,
25k a week,
and pay him 25 grand a week. See it like that? How's like them apples, Micky? Maybe you'll try a little bit harder next time we're in a relegation battle. You bozo. What are we doing there?
But what we're doing here, we don't. What we want. This guy should be playing in our first team or should be on a bench. It shouldn't. I don't get why are we? What's? I don't get it. I don't. Why are we happy for him to be on loan? I just don't get it.
He's ready. He's clearly good enough. If he's good enough in the Bundesliga to be winning Players of the Month and Players of the Season, then he surely is good enough to be in the Premier League right now. He's proven himself at that stage.
He also did really well in pre-season as well.
He did.
I watched him live at Reading.
I was at the game. I was at the game in Reading, mate. I was there. 9 minutes. In the first 9 minutes of him wearing a Tottenham shirt, he scored a goal, got on assist, and then cleared a goal line clearance. All in 9 minutes.
He looked like a monster as well.
Like an absolute monster. The amount of set piece goals we would score if he was on the pitch would be absolutely insane. We wouldn't be. I genuinely don't think we would be in the position we're in. I think we'd have scored more set piece FC goals under Thomas Frank with Vuskovic on the pitch this season.
I blame Thomas Frank. Blame him. It's his fault. Anyone in their right mind would, like you say, would not have let him go. That fucking pastry, Hugo. And you look so much like him. I hate it. You look so much fucking.
I'm getting my bonnet chopped on tomorrow.
Honestly, I can. I look at you and I hear him, but I hear him in your accent, so it's like a.
Working. Bloody trying,
bloody working.
Bloody
yeah, exactly. Bloody. It's like a car crash I can't unsee.
That's all right.
Looking like the man that you hate the most in the football world.
I know.
Tamugo Frank, we're going to call you from now on.
Tell you what, it'd be nice to have an extra 7 or 8 mil in the bank, though.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true.
I thought you were better off than Thomas Frank.
It'd be nice to have an extra 7 or 8 mil in more places than a bank. I tell you that.
Just short of an extra centimetre.
Just a couple.
Every millimetre counts, Drew. Every millimetre counts.
Points in the bank, mate. There we go.
It's all right. I'll be unrecognisable next week.
No, don't, mate. I quite like it.
No, it's starting to warm up here, and it's going to be like Schwitzville.
Can you do the Thomas Frank accent, Hugo?
It's pretty. No, I've got like German or something.
Working harder,
faster, better, shitter. Gracias, Pedro.
Does your wife ever wind you up and give you a Danish pastry and a coffee?
Mate, I'm not married.
Oh, you're not?
Divorced. No, divorced, mate.
No, she's a bloody Danish pastry, then, is she?
Yeah.
I don't know. She was a sort, but you know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's the internal stuff that matters, though, I guess, right?
Yeah, it is, mate. But you know, it doesn't hurt if they look all right as well.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Boys, let's talk a little bit about Atletico Madrid on Tuesday, shall we? John, I'll start with you. and I'll come to Matt. What are we saying on Tuesday night? Is it a lovely distraction or is it a nasty distraction from the problems that Tottenham? We will have Romero back. We'll have Micky van der Ven back. We might be able to see an actual back three with square pegs, square holes.
We'll probably give them a really good game now in Spurs because it was completely different in the Champions League under Frank, wasn't it? I mean, bloody hell, you couldn't have got much more of a polar opposite to the form. When you look at where we are, we shouldn't really be anywhere near that stage, should we? We should have been down in the bottom 5 or something of the whole Champions League list.
Yeah.
So, yeah, who knows? Conor Gallagher might give them some background information about how they're going to set up.
That's a good point.
He could have. I mean, everyone's saying, "Oh, Lookman's going to score a hat trick." Who knows? Conor Gallagher might be really motivated, and he might pop up with a goal at the last second or something.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Romero and Van der Ven are going to be extremely motivated, aren't they? Because they're going to go, "Oh, shop window."
Yeah.
Would you play Van der Ven though? Bear in mind we've got Liverpool at the weekend, and you're trying to, for argument's sake, let's hope.
Only for the Liverpool game.
Well, Van der Ven can't
Yeah,
play,
but
mate.
that's my point. Is that wouldn't you want to be trying to build a bit more chemistry between Romero and whether it be Danzo or whether it be
you got to play Van der Ven. You don't have
or
the
the
squad
donut
to pick and choose from the Champions League. To
Yeah,
the
but what's
league.
his name? Isn't what's his name fit? He had just had a little knock, didn't he?
Who's that?
Dragusin.
You
I
know,
don't care.
Yeah,
You've got
the Romanian.
because him and Romero, as I said, are going to be motivated. They're going to go, "Oh, everyone's going to see this game. I'm in the shop window. I want to impress." So play them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, John. I agree with you, Matt. I think
I'm
that's what you have
just
to think.
saying, for the sake of
No,
like,
I hear the
building
point,
up
Hugo.
a-
But also, if you do play someone else, they'll be tired by the weekend as well. So like, you need to.
They'll
That's
get
the other side of the
injured.
point around. Yeah, I think you're obviously going to play Micky van der Ven and Romero for the game on Tuesday, surely. But who do you partner with him? Danzo, John?
Well, is it going to be a back 3 or a back 4? He's going to play a back 3, I suppose, isn't he? So
we might see Pedro Porro playing right wing back finally.
yeah, and
Who plays left wing back?
Let's be brave and let's
Left
play a
back,
back
don't know.
3 with Romero, Danso, Van der Ven, Porro, Sousa as your wing backs. Let's have Paulinho where he should be. There's a holding role. Conor Gallagher in there with him in front of him. Xavi Simons is slightly more advanced. I don't want to see any of this unbalanced shit. Even Tim Sherwood said the other day he'd play for the starting lineup against Palace. Simmons on the left. Like, oh my God, you're talking about players out of position and then you're going to play Simmons on the left. Let's have some balance. Let's get at them on the wide angles.
And the front two would be who? Mawani and Richie, or Solanke and Richie? There'd be 2 more spots in your team.
I would probably start with Solanke and Richie and bring Mawani on because of his pace. I think could probably hurt him in the last 20, 30 minutes.
I'm not sure if Sousa can play, though. Alex Axitos, my man from Austria, reached out to me and said, I heard you saying that Sousa. I don't know. I was going to Dutch then. I don't know. I was going to Dutch. Hey, yeah, for sure he can play there. No, I'm not all sure. But he said he doesn't think Sousa can play because he might be 19, but he hasn't been at the club long enough to be on the B list.
Then I would go with Tel as a left wing back.
Oh,
Spence still out, is he?
Why not Tel? He's left-footed. He will track back. And when he's come on, he looks like he's up for the bloody fight. That's what we need at the moment.
Yeah. Is Spence still out then?
Don't know, but
he's not ready. He's not ready yet. He might be ready.
I wouldn't start him even if he is ready yet because he's probably going to be a little bit off the pace.
All right. Matt, over to you, mate. What would you do on do you see it as a distraction or an opportunity?
I see it as a distraction, to be honest, mate. I think we've got a lot bigger fish to fry. We've got, like Hugo said, we've got 9 cup finals left. We have to win 3 to 4 games to stay in this league. So, it might be good to get a win or a boosting sort of confidence, but also, to be honest, we don't really need these extra games. We can't afford any more injuries. Otherwise, we truly are screwed. So, I'm at the point where I don't really care about the Champions League, to be honest. I want to stay in this league. And I don't want to play Lincoln away next year and get taken the piss out of all year again.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I want to get out of the Champions League quick, and I want to get through and stay in the Premier League for next season and properly get a proper director of football in and try and properly rebuild this club back up to just a season where we don't have to worry about relegation, to be honest, mate. That's where I'm at.
Let us know in the chat. One, if you think this is like if you care about the Champions League. 0 if you don't care and you're only focused on the Premier League. Just quickly whilst we're here, Tool Tart, big up to Tool Tart. You're such a Tool Tart. Knowing us, we'll probably win. Choo Tudor. Choo to you, mate. Appreciate you, Tool Tart. Thank you very much indeed. Just Matt, before I move on to one of the other boys, any change in the starting 11 that John put together there? And by the way, also just consider maybe that. I'm not sure, but I think there might be some truth to what the.
I'm not sure about Tel at left wing back. I mean, he sort of played there against Crystal Palace, didn't he? Sort of. He was sort of looked like he was at wing back anyway.
Did no defensive.
Looked like he struggled a lot to me.
Yeah.
And they've got more quality than Crystal Palace. They've got players like Julian Alvarez and real players who can seriously hurt you.
Would you go with Van de Ven at left wing back, Matt, and put?
Would I go with who?
At the back.
Would I go with who?
Van de Ven left wing back and possibly Paulinho at the back.
Or Dragusin.
You could go 4 at the back and play Van de Ven.
You can't take Paulinho out of the midfield against Atletico.
He will play 3. We know that. That's
I would probably play Van de Ven at left wing back, to be honest. I think he'd just give you that sort of balance. You can't play against Liverpool, can he, John? So I think
I would love to see Mickey, but I know that we're not in the situation where we can experiment, boys. But I would genuinely love to see Micky van de Ven play at left wing back or left back.
He can't play in the back three. He can't play in the back three, Sean. You can see it.
He can't play in the back three. He's been terrible in the back on the left side of a back three.
That's why Holland don't pick him as centre back because they know he's not good enough. They play him at left back.
I think Holland don't pick him at left centre back because they've got Virgil van Dijk at left centre back. To be honest,
but they've also got Timber. They've also got they'll have to They have a few options, obviously. Ake as well. So.
I suspect once Virgil van Dijk stops playing for the Netherlands, I suspect Mickey would.
Oh, he's going to Liverpool.
He's going to
Liverpool, man. I think he'll go to Liverpool.
But I mean, for Netherlands, I think at the moment, but the Netherlands have got a history of this as well, don't they? And Belgium used to do it as well, of taking very, very good centre backs and having them play at fullback. I think Sean, going back to Atletico Madrid, their results are a bit checkered over the last
they're up and down, aren't they?
Month or so. But actually, if you look at it, the teams that they're losing against, like Barcelona, they're actually doing all right at the moment. Atletico Madrid. So
they're a very good team. Very good team.
Plus, they're not going to give you loads of space. Like we've played against these other European teams who've given like Xavi Simons loads of space. Again, Atletico Madrid under Simeone are not going to give you that time on the ball. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to be right at you and probably sit deep, to be honest. And I just think it's a game we didn't. Well, we just need to get out of it as soon as possible.
So, what do you think our ownership? What do you think our ownership? Because you're guaranteed, they seemingly the only thing that they want to prioritize is the money coming through the door, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that they're prioritizing right now, telling them that we need to be trying to get to the next stage of the Champions League and the revenues that come with that, or that we need to be actually prioritizing trying to stay in the league? Or do you think they're just hoping that if we do prioritize Champions League, we get lucky and we stay up by the skin of our teeth in the league?
Well, it should be concentrate on the league. It should be.
It should be,
like
but
250 million revenue loss or something. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Mate, I agree with you, but I'm saying, since when has this leadership, ownership, whatever you want to call it, made the right decision?
Well, they've thrown cup competitions before.
Monetarily.
But they've thrown cup competitions before, as we know, because they wanted to concentrate on the league and getting whether it's into Europe or. Look, this is
which is all money, mate. It's money. That's money.
Yeah, but
I'm not sure.
The domestic
Premier League, you need that money. The TV money is ridiculous alone.
I'm just saying the TV.
I wouldn't. Sorry, Hugo. I wouldn't be focusing on the money aspect because I'm not. Yes, they care about money, but rich people have got money coming out their ears, and it's an accountant's problem that works itself out in the medium to long run. I think what they care most about is being able to have their sponsors, their people in the boxes for big games, and those big games include the Premier League and include European games. So I suspect that for their own sort of personal sense of self, their ego, staying in the Champions League as long as possible and having those parties, for want of a better word, in their boxes is absolutely what they won't be rational like us, which is, do you know what, just sack that off because the Premier League is more important. I think a lot of these people, whilst yes, they're interested in staying in the Premier League, I think they'll want to persist with those with those events for as long as they possibly can.
Where did we get to? Be up, Stell. How you doing? Oh,
He's gone.
he's fucked off.
That was quick.
He's in. He's out. Stell-egation. He got Stell-egated.
Stell-egation.
So, anyone, Drew, have you spoken yet? Hugo, have you spoken yet about the Atletico Madrid game?
No, I mean,
They're going to. Oh, go on.
we were just discussing about whether these owners are going to basically say that the team needs to be continuing to put all their eggs into the Champions League basket and whatever else, and just continue to just kind of hope for the best in the league and hope that we stay up, or are they actually going to get a bit pragmatic and realize that actually we need to fight for all we can in the league and slack off the Champions League? But Rain thinks that they're petrified of losing the revenues from Champions League and everything else. So I don't know, mate. I mean, that's the thing. Supposedly, right, when we've had all of this new Vinay Venkatesan communications magic and whatever else, you had to hope that there was going to be a bit better kind of communication coming out, or that they were going to be a bit more, proactive in trying to get ahead of things, right?
Fucking hell.
But they're not. What are you doing now?
What are we doing here?
What are we doing with the week?
What are we doing here? What's this blonde fucking
What's
week?
this coming?
What are we
He's going to
doing?
do Frank, isn't he?
No, that's not even
is
Frank. Is it Jimmy fucking
Berghvall?
Savile by the looks of it? What the fuck are we doing here?
What
Listen,
is
the one
Berghvall?
thing I will say,
Yeah.
Hugo, is the worst thing, and I don't even necessarily know it's the take, but the worst thing about part of this conversation that we've just had is the fact that the board or anybody above the manager should have anything to do with the fucking team selection
football.
or
Yeah.
what the team should be
100%.
doing on the fucking pitch.
100%.
That's really that's my take on it. Secondly, I think that Simeone has taken one look at us and said, listen, boys, this lot are softer than baby shit.
Yeah.
Get at them. We can have this done in the first leg.
Yeah.
Because of just because of how bad we are. Just because there's nothing in the last 18 months to 2 years that tells me that we've got anything. Well, I don't know. I suppose this is the thing. We've been half decent in Europe, but that makes me even angrier, because that tells me that some of these players seem to want to be able to fucking pull it out and give it some when they really want to. And they seem to be able to just fucking put their feet up without any consequence when they don't. So I don't know. This club has got me absolutely just bipolar, schizophrenic, apoplectic. I hate it. I love the badge. I love the badge, and just let me finish my rant, please, Hugo. Sorry. No, you're good. I love the badge. I love the fact that I've got, the memories of my mum and dad loving it, and my dad giving me the stories of, the Crew Alexander and it was the 13-2 or the 13-4 and just all the history. But it's just, it's a shambles from top to bottom. The fucking players haven't got any bollocks. There's no fucking gumption, Hugo, as you would say. And I just don't. I'm sick of it. So to your point, Sean, I'm not sure I give two shits about the game really, because everything else. It's like that meme with the fucking everything's on fire and the little dog with the funny face is just going, it's fine. It's fine. Like, I don't know. Like deep in my heart, I want us to win. Of course, I want us to win. But fuck this lot.
I hear you, mate. I hear you.
But I see the thing about the, like the footballing people aren't, making any of the footballing decisions. But that ship sailed now. Like as soon as the next appointment was taken out of Vinay and Lange's hands, and they'd been basically usurped and, gelded or whatever else, because they'd shown not only was their ineptitude identified with keeping on, getting Frank in to begin with, but then secondly, keeping him on stay of execution for as long as they did, right? But then they've then been completely bypassed in, identifying Tudor by effectively bringing in Paratici's replacement later than was intended by Paratici to start with. So at that stage, I'm just like, why have we even got Vinay and Lange still in their jobs to begin with? Like, what is their function right now? If they're just
there's no point in sacking them right now, though, Hugo. It's like there's nothing more that the directors can do right now. It's over to the players and the manager on the pitch. Unless the only other thing that the people at the football club can do in the next 3 months to sort out whether we go into Stell-egation mode. Big up to you, Stell. Welcome to the show. I had to put the
Who are you? I'm sorry. Who the hell? Who are you? Who are you?
I'm not sure if Stell can even hear us. He's there. Yeah, I think he's frozen. Maybe he's not.
He's frozen, I think.
He's completely frozen.
It's a moment in time.
Basically, as soon as I saw him coming on, I was like, I'm more than happy to have Stell on the stream. More than happy to hear it because it will go in a great direction. But I don't necessarily want to be associated with Stell-egation. So I thought I'd have to change my identity briefly.
Just change your appearance.
Change my appearance. So everyone goes, who's that clown with the wig? No one can tell. No one can tell, right?
Well, your name's still in the corner.
Oh shit! Yeah, I need to change it to Bjorn.
Fucking Jimmy Stavel. Jimmy Stavel.
Let's change this. Bjorn. There we go.
Oh,
Bjorn. How do you spell Bjorn?
BJORN.
Yeah, Bjorn.
It's only because you wanted a name with a BJ in it.
Yeah, right.
Where is
I don't know. I think his internet connections. I want to get
Joris Johnson. Joris Johnson.
Oh, that bloody English scone, eh? I mean, absolute bloody.
Would you like a cup of tea? Would you like a cup of tea? Oh, have a cup of tea.
Wanker. You look like the Emperor Nero until you put the sunglasses on.
Like who?
Like the Emperor Nero before you put the sunglasses on. I thought, oh, there we go.
I that too. I don't mind. Yeah, look. So are we all in agreement then that Atletico Madrid? We want to win, but we don't like. If we lose, it's not the end of the world. Is that what we're saying? Is that what we're saying?
I think we want to get ideally to get pumped, don't we?
No.
What, so he gets sacked?
Yeah.
Do you mean so he gets sacked?
So he gets sacked, and the whole thing's like done and dusted, and that that's it.
I mean,
it would only give them 4 days. 4 or 5 days to find someone, though, wouldn't it? I mean, they probably don't even know who they're going to get yet.
I don't know, but the best case scenario is I reckon that it's game over.
And also, if you get a new manager, do you want him to have Liverpool away, or do you give him a better chance at home to Nottingham Forest? I mean,
I don't know, but if you bring him in, there's only a week, between the Liverpool game and the Forest game. So I think I'd rather get him in probably before the Liverpool game.
I mean, it's annoying, right? Because I think Liverpool do look leaky in defence, and you can get at them, but we just don't.
Have you seen our team, mate?
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, West Ham can go there and give it a go. I mean.
Yeah, but they've actually got they've shown a little bit of intent. They've added a bit of They might not be the best players, but
This
they've
is
got players.
the scariest thing. Every time you say, "Oh, somebody's gone there, they've gone there with intent," nobody expected Wolves to come back against that lot 2-2, but they did. And I've just not seen anything from this lot that tells me that they've got it in them to do anything like that. I thought Stell was doing one of those kind of arty things like Banksy, where in his Wi-Fi actually going down. He was suggesting that the club was going like a very clever.
There's layers to the answer.
Layers to it. There's layers to it,
right? There's lots of hidden meanings. So, Stell, whilst we have you, because before you freeze again, how are you? The Stell-egation squad is in the house. How's things going?
Yeah, good. Went for a nice stroll in the mountains and by the beach today. Life's hard. No, I'm in a nice place at the moment, so I get to do these things on the weekend. But yeah, no, life's good. Stell-egation army is growing strong. Got quite a big backing. It's growing. It's quite interesting how fans feel.
All the players are backing you, Stell, that's for sure.
The players are back. He's gone again.
He's gone.
The disappearing Stelios. What are we
Where
doing?
is he?
Can I get some ones and zeros in the chat? I just want to see ones and zeros in the chat, right? Let me see, because he's gonna rejoin the show right now. Ones and zeros.
Smash subscribe, by the way.
If you are smash subscribe. If you are on the Stell-egation squad, if you're part of the Stell-egation squad, smash a 1. If you think that Stelios is losing his mind and that rooting for relegation is beyond crazy, then smash a 0. Just need to see the numbers. There's like 2,500 people apparently watching, but that's also on Twitter. What's the numbers in the chat? There's 850 people here on YouTube. So ones and zeros. If Stell's right, 1. If you're not on board the Stell train, then zeros. Need to see where we're at with that one. You're getting a few ones, Stell. You're getting a few ones, mate.
Does he get a choo-choo if he gets more ones than zeros?
Definitely gets a choo-choo. 100%. 100%. Let the people sport. Let people speak.
Listen. After the Crystal Palace game, all I saw was the camera panning to the stands and fans staring into the distance like reindeers in headlights and people just shocked and stunned. And that is the face of fans realizing, oh shit, maybe ENIC are the problem. And oh shit, look what they've done to the club. Everything we've been saying for 5 years slapped them hard in the face.
Oh, he's gone. He just comes in and goes. He's gone again. He's gone again. Listen, what I would say to because Stell was doing the thing where he says like, I've been right. I was right. I've been right for 5 years. Right. That's the idea. Right. I would say that is the same as someone at midday telling the world that it's nighttime. Right. And everyone goes, no, it's not. And then it's 1 p.m. It's nighttime, guys. It's nighttime. No, it's not. Then at 3 p.m. It's nighttime, guys. No, it isn't, Stell. No, it isn't. 5 p.m. It's nighttime. No, it isn't. As soon as 9 p.m. comes around and it's dark outside, he goes, see, I told you. I've been right all day. No. Back then, when you were on the ENIC out train, there wasn't the appetite for it because it wasn't a problem. It's only a problem now. It doesn't mean that you were right then. It means that you might be right now. That's how I would argue the kind of revisionism of the last 4 or 5 years.
Anything to defend your failed position on this whole debate about ENIC. Every fan knows ENIC are the problem, Sean. They all know now. Now they know.
They are now. Now that Daniel Levy's gone.
Now
100%.
they know. Yeah.
Now 100%.
5 years it took them. 5 years it took them to realise this ownership is rotten and they don't care about football. And that's where we are as a fan base now. Will they do something about it?
You were ENIC out for like when you could like Sava said he was ENIC out when Martin Jol got sacked, and loads of people that are on the ENIC out train were ENIC out for a variety of different parts in the past, right? So they weren't right then, because in the meantime we've got to Champions League finals and 1 Europa Leagues and all this sort of stuff. So and we finished 4th a lot of the time. So he's gone again, isn't he? He's gone. I'm talking to ghosts here. Let someone else come in. Am I wrong? Am I right? Is it like if you're calling nighttime at noon, you're not right yet? At some point, you're going to be right if you lean negative, right?
Mate, with Tottenham Hotspur, absolutely. If you like want to just take it's as they say over here in the States, it's low hanging fruit, right? If you want to take like a, pessimistic stance, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be realised. That's it with Tottenham at the moment.
If you lean negative, you're going to be right eventually with football, 100%.
Well, especially with Tottenham Hotspur.
Especially with Tottenham Hotspur, but even like the league gunners of this world have predicted failure every year, and they're right, because even the most successful teams fail more often than they succeed. If the line in the sand is trophies equals success, not winning trophies equals failure. I know it's a different conversation.
What about just?
But yeah, go on, Stell.
What about just having an honest stance and being honest that the ownership's been crap? Why can't we do that? Lee Gunner is a fraud because Lee Gunner, his owners have backed the manager. His owners have chucked ridiculous amounts of money at top quality play. For Lee Gunner to be going the way he's going, he's actually the biggest fraud on YouTube, that man. We've never been in that position where we've kept a manager for 6 years and backed him with really good signings. We've never done that. So I don't think it's fair to compare Lee Gunner to us Spurs fans. When I would never do what he's doing if I was witnessing what's going on at Arsenal.
Sorry, I'm just to be clear, I'm not comparing Lee Gunner. I'm just saying that the general mindset of if you predict the losing lottery numbers, you're going to be right. And predicting losing lottery numbers is predicting failure or predicting a regression. It's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, but if you also know
exactly right, Sean. You're exactly right. I completely agree.
Johnny, nice hat, Johnny.
Where are you?
Hello, everyone. Hello. I was just going to say, I don't mean to interrupt. I was just going to say, still, I don't agree with him often, but he's exactly right. Exactly right.
Johnny, are you on your holidays again, mate?
Yeah, just, Japan, innit? Anyway,
Johnny,
I got, yeah, all right. Nice one, Shawnee. Right.
Johnny, Bianca wants her jacket back, by the way. She's not happy that you keep that jacket for so long.
Oh, fucking Drew with his impressions. He's absolutely spot on.
I'm going to say it's no rain. It's no rain. It's not quite there.
No, but listen, listen, right. I'm a data guy, right? I'm a data guy, and I've been looking at the data. And if I'm honest, I think, listen, right. I think basically, that we're going down. We're going down.
Lucky I don't take things personally, doesn't it?
Thinking shit.
I would say it's like Stell has been saying that the world is round, and at some point, if it carries on circling the earth the way it is, it's going to be nighttime, and everyone going, nah, it's not going to be nighttime. And now it's nighttime because the earth is round. The owners are rubbish, and they have been taking us on a journey that's going to end up with nighttime, and that's why we are where we are. So I don't think it's the clock is broken. A broken clock is right twice a day, Sean. Yeah, thank you very much, Drew. That's great. That's great, mate. I'm just going to make my point, and then you can take the Mickey. It's not the case that a broken clock is right twice a day. It's that something's going to happen, and now it's happened. Stell is going, I told you it was going to happen because I've seen it coming.
Isn't that what Sean said about 10 minutes ago?
No, what Sean said is if a broken clock is right twice a day, which is basically saying that you can predict failure because it's always going to happen. But actually, what Stell's been saying is the owners are taking us on a journey, and everyone's like, no, they're not. No, they're not. And you know what? Now we're there at the destination that the owners have taken us on. People need to realise that, yes, we were on that journey. Stell, am I right or am I wrong?
Well, you're wrong about, so quickly before you come to Stell, you're wrong about my interpretation of what Stell was saying. My interpretation of Stell was predicting that it was a certain time of day when it wasn't. Like, we were in the Champions League final in 2019. Things weren't that bad. When we were finishing fourth every season.
I wasn't protesting then, Sean.
Okay,
Sean,
well, people, I'm not just saying about you specifically.
Hold on a minute.
Stell, I'm not talking about you specifically. I'm talking about people that have been in out forever, right? there's people in the content community that were ENIC out when Martin Jol was sacked. There's people that were ENIC out when Harry Redknapp was sacked. There's people that were ENIC out when Pochettino was sacked. There's people that were ENIC out when Jose Mourinho was sacked.
Sean, one person.
There's loads of people.
One person.
I'm just saying that my point being that
that's not true.
if you're saying that ENIC have to go, and it's so bad when a tiny percentage of people agree with you, then it's because you're predicting nighttime when it's noon. Is the point I'm saying, right? That's the thing. That's the point I'm making. Like Stell at the moment is suggesting that he was always right. But I don't think he was right when he first started saying it, but he was predicting inevitable, or he was suggesting that we were failing before we were. We're failing now. And it's one thing to say the ENIC out is the right method now, but it wasn't necessarily back then. Otherwise, more people would have subscribed to that idea at the time. That's the point.
Or were we on the journey, Sean? Were we actually on the journey?
At what point?
Let's face it. Relegation and being where we are doesn't happen overnight. It happens over many, many years.
How many years?
5, 6 years.
You're specifically picking the peak, right? The peak that was an artificial high that was still built by the same owners.
You asked. Yeah, okay. So let's say it happens over the tenure of a player, which is around 5 years. So that's an arbitrary amount. So if we want to have an arbitrary amount, so Scott in chat has put 25.
That's the sort of thing. That's the sort of thing I'm talking about.
Absolutely, but I think we can reasonably say that it happens over over a 5-6 year period. That's a corporate. That's corporate time period.
We can all absolutely agree that since the Champions League final, we have crumbled, massively crumbled, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Also,
that's when. Yeah, but Sean, that's when.
In that final, you'll remember our league form had fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, it had. Yeah, that was the start. Yeah, in that season, we got to the Champions. It wasn't dissimilar. It was obviously a massively more exaggerated version, but we finished fifth we finished fourth the year in that season, but because we still played in the Champions League the year after, right? We finished fourth that year, but that was seen as a disappointing season for Tottenham,
right?
Because we'd finished second and third the previous couple of years, and we were in a title race. So again, like when people that were saying that ENIC had been a problem for 25 years, like M, for example, that's an example of the ridiculousness of that whole statement. We can all agree that the last 6 years have been a massive fall off, but I would also make the argument, and I think it's a salient point, that the expectations that were reset after getting to the Champions League final were artificially high. It was like buying Bitcoin at the very top, seeing it get fucking rug pulled in your grid, and then resenting Bitcoin because you were the mug who bought into the unrealistic expectation of where it was going to go from there.
Mind you, we also got told that the rationale behind, the whole building the new stadium and everything else behind it was that, you remember Levy coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, we're just going to be, reinvesting into on the pitch, whatever else." Well, since Pete Pochettino, you can argue that every single one of those players that's left has been replaced by a player of a lesser caliber.
Yeah, but every single one of those players that we bought were not the players that they were when they left. And so when Tottenham went back into the reinvestment pool and went and tried to go again, those players subsequently haven't materialized to be the same quality of the players that we got at the time. So it wasn't like we bought world superstars and let world-class superstars leave and then replaced them with kids. We bought kids that became superstars. Why is there such massive feedback? There's huge feedback in the chat.
But I don't know. I mean, something's in the background somewhere.
That's Stell. Hang on.
Stell? It's better now.
Okay. Finish your point and I'll get Stell to come in.
I mean, that's the thing though, right? Is that not only was it a case of that would have been the time where you
Someone got a TV on. What's going on?
Who's that? Who is it?
It's Stell. Hang on. Stell, what's going on, bro?
It's like
I don't know. My mic was on mute.
Trying to sabotage us.
Okay, go. Okay, we'll start
brilliant. Fucking brilliant.
that audio sounded like it was like a murder mystery. Can't we just?
Can we just agree though? Pete
Murder
Posh
mystery.
also coincided with the multiple windows where we didn't sign any players. So that's everybody's talking about Pete Poch, but actually it was that period where we got Hitchin and where we didn't sign any players. That's where we started to get behind the curve on other teams, and with DOFs like Hitchin started to not actually get the type of players in that we needed.
Yeah, that was. I don't think anyone's going to try and argue that. I mean, the only thing that people, come at you or come at people that say that we've been signing, like less or whatever else, they say, well, you've been the 4th or 5th highest, spenders and but we've been over this. Like, what you spend to buy a player is not the same as getting a top player when it's the wages that is the best determination as to whether a player is a top level player or not. You look at Haaland at City. I can't remember what they paid to get him. It wasn't that much, but he's obviously on a shit ton of money every week.
It was about 50 mil, I think. It was only about 50 mil.
But that's what I mean. And you've got one of the top 5 strikers in the world, right? But
they pay him about 800 grand a week. So.
Well, exactly so. But that's my point: is that the determination of the caliber of the player you're signing is the weekly wage, and not what you pay off, or in Spurs' case, not pay off.
I hear you. Hugo, just give me 1 second, because I don't know if Stell, your Wi-Fi is obviously problematic, mate. So whilst we've got you, before you drop out again, let's let you land a point, and then I won't interrupt or anything. I'll let you land your point, mate, and then I'm sure you'll drop out again at some point because of the Wi-Fi thing.
I think he's gone to sleep.
And he's gone
again already. He's gone already. Look at him.
This move from when he was in London, he used to be able to get clean Wi-Fi, but is like the resolution was like 360p or whatever. It was like looking at a game of Roblox. But since he's moved to Cyprus, he's got like 4K resolution, but absolutely no Wi-Fi.
He moved there full time.
Yeah, but to be fair, he's in the middle of nowhere. He's not in a city, so yeah.
Well, he needs to put some different livestock on the wheel then.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to get Starlink.
I thought he was in Doctor Who for a minute. He looks like one of those Cybermen.
Need to get Nonny off the Wi-Fi watching Murder, She Wrote. Get Nonny off the Wi-Fi. Come on.
Cypriot Murder, She Wrote.
Can you do a Cypriot impression, Drew?
Angelina Lansbury.
But I don't want to offend anyone.
He says,
probably do. I could probably, given some research and stuff, I could probably give anything a go. It's just the target audience, or as we found out previously, you can only do your native color, otherwise people get a little bit offended.
Yeah. You're not allowed to do Asian, not allowed to do African or black, not allowed to do any of that stuff.
No.
Any excuse to be offended.
Yeah.
Used to be any excuse.
Just for me personally, we can all agree 100% that ENIC are currently, the version of ENIC that we're seeing right now is an absolute disgrace. The version of ENIC that we saw in its entirety in the last maybe 2-3 years has really fallen off a cliff. Yeah. And I think that there is a need for new and a need for change. But that doesn't mean that people that reflect on ENIC because of what they're seeing in the last 12 months. It's like if you have an argument with your mum or your dad because of something that's sincere, and then you fall out with them, you don't speak to them again at the age of 30. It doesn't mean that they were a terrible mother and father when you were growing up, right? And I think that people reflect on ENIC as 25 years of failure. I don't personally subscribe to it. Stell, we have you. You're looking like you're more. Have you gone to 5G? You're looking like you're back in the game.
I'm on my mobile phone now, so this should be better.
Hey.
There you go.
Yeah.
Should have tried that an hour ago. What are we saying, mate? I'll let you answer. I'll let you come back into the. You haven't had a chance to respond to my accusations. So.
What was your accusation this time?
Not accusation. Sorry. My sentiment was generally that people that are reflecting on ENIC now as being an obvious problem that we can all agree on that they summarise that they were always right, going back to years before when, and they reflect on the entire ENIC ownership as a failed experiment. When I don't think that that's the case. I think if you were to ask, like generally speaking, I think we've always agreed still that the online fan base have more of a problem with ENIC than the match going fan. Has he gone again?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, he's here. Okay, but I would just make the argument that the relativism of it, the relativity of it, is allows people to make the assumptions that when they had the same stance that they did years and years ago, that they were right then, and that's why I give the kind of calling nighttime at noon as the analogy.
No, but you're focusing on the tiny minority of people that have that view. Only a handful of people blame ENIC for 25 years. The majority of people that have got involved with the protests, especially the last 2 or 3 years, they've only blamed ENIC since the firing of Poch. I only got involved with the protests and went all out after leaving ENIC once Poch was sacked and they didn't want to back him. And when I completely lost the plot with it was when they sacked Mourinho before a cup final for an unqualified Ryan Mason. It was, for me, that's when I realized this ownership hasn't got a clue. They literally have no clue on footballing matters with regards to wanting us to be successful. The only time they've ever made a decision that made sense regarding football, and it wasn't a decision at the time I liked, but they got it right, was to keep Ange to win that Europa Cup. That's the only time they've ever done something against the will of the fans. But I also blame the fans, Sean. I think our fans have been complicit. They've facilitated this. They've accepted these decisions. They keep going there. You know, let's not forget, most of our fans wanted Conte out. They wanted Mourinho out. A lot of them wanted Ange out. So many got behind Project Frank. How many fans couldn't wait for Frank to come here? So as much as I blame ENIC and Levy, I do look at the fan base and say, well, what are you doing? So that's why after the Crystal Palace game, I wasn't really... Who?
What can the fans do? Because I know you present yourself, with all due respect, you present yourself as a bit of a Martin Luther King type figure, like a martyr for the cause. But like in the years I've known you,
you're such a dramatic person when you explain things. Like, I'm not.
Content's got a content, you know. Like we got Martin Luther. I had a dream. I had a protest. You stood on one side of the road for 5 minutes before a game than other people, right? For a couple of years.
What fans can do, Sean, is something, right? Whether you want to boycott, mass walkouts, protests, but to do nothing but moan and complain and whinge and whine and cry. Well, great. You know, it's like people now, I'm watching them on Talk Sport and Sky Sports and, oh, you know, the club have got to fix this. Oh, I'm really frustrated. And, you know, that the players need to fix up. No shit, really? Great. Thanks for telling us what we can all see with our own bloody eyes. Do something about it. And the most popular thing I hear, Sean, is this. Protests don't work. And then my response is, have you tried? No. Great. Well done. You know, that's like saying that car doesn't work, but I haven't tried to start the engine to see if it moves.
Sure.
Try and then tell me it doesn't work. But most fans, I don't know why, I don't understand the reasoning. Most fans aren't interested. They're just not bothered. And by the way, Sean, Sean, 1 second. These are the same fans who had the audacity, the downright cheek to say to me, for fuck's sakes, just back your team. And they all walked out the stadium at half time. So you're telling me to back the team and not call out ENIC, yet you're walking out the stadium at half time, and that's okay, is it? It's double standards, man.
Aren't you guilty of doing the same thing you just accused me of doing, which is assume that everyone feels the same way?
Every fan, as far as I'm concerned now, is pointing all the fingers at the board. Every fan. I don't know one fan. Right. The difference is they point fingers. We try and do something about it.
What do you do about it?
I'm trying to protest for 5 years, Sean, but the protests aren't working because people don't turn up to them. Our fans are accepting of the ownership rather than taking action.
But so are you suggesting then that the only thing that matters is the match going fans? Is that your stance?
They're the ones that have the biggest influence.
Well, I would disagree, right? I would say, and this is not to in any way, shape, or form to give myself credit for this at all. I'm not. That's why I'm saying it. But like the PGMOL thing, the fact that Tottenham wrote a letter to the PGMOL for the 5 days before that happened, I was talking about it. Then Last Word on Spurs was talking about it. I think Saba was talking about it. I think there was about 5 or 6 different podcasts that were all talking about refereeing decisions that are not going our way. And the only way that you can try and get some favor in that regard is to leverage a little bit of the ammunition that people like Mikel Arteta do. When they get one decision that goes against them, they kick up merry hell. And when the decisions go their way, they don't say boo to a goose. And all of a sudden, loads of people, loads of podcasts, loads of YouTube channels. It was all over Twitter for about 5 days. And then all of a sudden, Tottenham Hotspur write a letter for the first time in years, as far as I can remember, ever, if anything. I'm not sure, right? So I believe that the online space is more powerful than people give it credit for in comparison to the in comparison to the match-going fans. Well, I will entirely agree with you, and we've spoken about this 1,000 times on Spurs 5, that there was clearly a disconnect between the match-going fans and the people on the social zeitgeist, right? The social zeitgeist, if I was to put an ENIC out, ENIC out thing on the poll right now, even this channel, which I think is, I've cultivated an audience which I would hope is a little bit more, I don't know, just open-minded, not necessarily a one-track mind, but I'd say right now, 90% would say ENIC out, 90% probably.
Sean, you've just proven me right. You've just proven me right. Because you're saying all the YouTube channels and everyone would no, hold on, no, you just said that all the YouTube channels and podcasters, they all agreed that we should be taking action and writing to the PGMOL, and that we should be more have a more of an aggressive approach with the referees, and right. But here's the thing, everyone agrees. Not all the YouTube channels agree with taking action. So I'm not going to mention names, but there's some big channels.
Who doesn't agree with taking action?
Chris Cowlin.
Mention them.
Chris Cowlin, he does nothing. Flav, the fighting cock. There's people on the Last Word on Spurs. Hold on.
I'm asking you. So they don't. I don't watch them. So what?
No, they don't. No, they don't take. They don't agree in taking action. Everyone agreed that we should take action with the PGML, but they don't all agree in taking action.
Well, we on Tottenham TV do, right?
But Sean, half do. Last Word on Spurs, there's regular guests on there like George Akelia. He never attends anything. So what I'm saying is, Sean, the only reason you attend is to create content, not because you really believe in it.
No, it's a nice day out for me to meet people that I know.
Well, there you go. It's a day out for you. So there's a difference, isn't there?
No. Hang on, there's a massive difference. Me being there, I'm just a fat git who's going to wear a fucking flip-flop outfit. Me being one extra bod at the protest doesn't make any difference to the overall numbers. Me coming on here and saying I support the protest, everyone should be there. And Stella, I've always done that. Even when it was just you and your mates that were 25 people, you and Brian Daigle and all that stuff, I always did it. 3 years ago, I always said, guys, the protest is happening this game. It's in this position.
I don't think people believe that you were sincere with it, though.
But my influence is irrelevant, isn't it? If I'm saying to you,
but you're the one saying the online influence is relevant. Now you're saying it's not relevant.
No. I'm saying the awareness of the incident, the awareness of the event is important to be promoted. I have always promoted. I said, if you guys feel that way, go and
it's not about the awareness, bro. Sean, it's not about the awareness. It's about meaning it, right? When people said we've got to do something about the referees, we've got to do something about PGML, everyone meant it. When people talk about ENIC and Levy and the board, not everyone means, right, we got to do something about this as a collective. Half do, half don't. And of the half that do, half of them don't even turn up.
But so my point being, do you think that the influence of the football club, if the football club has either the football club came to their own conclusion and they couldn't give a shit about the social zeitgeist or the public zeitgeist about any of this stuff, right? Either they don't care and they're going to do their own thing, which you can make a very strong argument that they do their own thing anyway, given the decision-making of the last 3 or 4 years, or they're paying attention. If they paid attention to the PGMOL, right, and they heard various people saying it, and they went, you know what, it's a fucking good idea, let's do it, And then maybe, just maybe, that was the reason why the face, that the line was drawn with his forehead and his noggin ahead of the line, even though it was absolute bollocks, until they couldn't give us any more 50-50s. But either the football club took that on board because it was a social construct and they went, that's what the fans think. It's probably a girl, that let's do it. Either they're listening or they're not. If they're listening, then they're not just listening to me saying it. They're watching the people in the chat that are all saying.
But the club directly took action, right? It's one thing the club directly taking action. The club doesn't say to the fans, by the way, can you all attend the protest, please? Can we have you all demonstrate? The club aren't going to do that, are they?
Of course.
So it's different. I think the two examples are a bit different. But for me, I stay adamant with my view. If all the YouTubers and podcasts united behind a form of action, it doesn't have to be a protest. I mean, the stadium being almost empty for the second half against Palace, that is a form of protest. That practically was a boycott. We're not going to sit here and watch this anymore. That is a form of protest. I don't care what the action is, but we've got to take some kind of action. And for me, most fans are choosing not to do anything, but yet they all want to moan about the problem. That doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, but what can the... Okay, so let's move this forward for a second. So change for Tottenham. A guy I know from Bilbao who's like a bit of a crazy, like hardcore fan or whatever. They reached out and said, Sean, we're going to do something for the Nottingham Forest game. Will you advocate for it, or will you be a part of it? I said, I probably won't be at the game, but if I'm there, of course, and I'll certainly mention it. I'll do it right now, guys. Massive. Apparently a huge protest. I don't know the details, but apparently a huge thing is going to be happening for the Nottingham Forest game. So if you're going to the game, make sure you're there. Make sure you're fucking loud and noisy and all that stuff, right? 100%. If you feel the way you guys feel. But what can the club do between now and the summer? Still,
what can the club do now to do?
The only impactful decision.
Sean. I don't understand the question. What can the club do now for what? To achieve what is it?
To achieve, or something that you don't want, which is to stay up, right? But you want to protest. You want to be a part of the change.
The only thing the club can do to stay up, if that's what they want, is to change the manager.
Yeah, right. Okay, so
that's the only thing they've got left. They can't change the players.
Right. But aren't you advocating for this noise to be held at the Nottingham Forest game to be not changed for Tottenham, i.e. change can be anything, including change the manager?
No, I've messaged change for Tottenham. I've messaged change for Tottenham, and I've said to them the message has to be clear and people need to know exactly what they're turning up for. It has to be ENIC out, change of ownership. That has to be the message, and they agree.
Right, but
I think that's
how is that going to be impactful between now and the end of the season?
It's not going to change anything right now, Sean, because because fans need to show that we're not going to tolerate this nonsense from you anymore. It has to end.
Go on, Rain. Do you want to come in or you want to leave?
We had Billy on THFC Till We Die the other day, and I don't want to speak for him, but I will say what I asked him. We only had him for half an hour, and I asked him, is it now change for Tottenham - ENIC out? Because you're absolutely right, Sean. It never has been. And
what's the answer?
Billy said yes. It is now.
Yeah, so it's been lipstick on a pig the entire time. I've always said that. I've always known that.
Well, right, maybe it wasn't, but now it is.
It has been. Yeah. When Billy.
No, Sean, I agree with you on this. I agree with you on this one.
It was always a bit of a bait and switch, and I respect it. I respect the strategy, but it's a little bit disingenuous, right? But it's fine if they want to move it to where they want to move it to, and that's absolutely fine. I'd be sincere. Don't be inauthentic, right? Don't pretend like you have 10,000 people that are supporting ENIC out if you're claiming that it's for everything else, because that's inauthentic. So I was never on board on that. If you're going to be something, be what you want to be, and let the cookies fall as they may, let the dice fall as they may, whatever, right? That's fine. But my question is not so much about that, because I've always known what they really represent. My question is more, ENIC out is not something that's going to change right now. But I know, Stell, you're coming at it from a Stell-egation perspective. You want the club to go down. But for those people that don't want the club to go down, is an ENIC out protest against Nottingham Forest going to create...
Sean, hold on 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute. 1 second. I want the fans to stand up in unison and do something about it before relegation. I'm saying sink the club because the fans are what is going on at this football club. So there's a difference. If the fans change their approach and they stood up in unison against ENIC, then I wouldn't be Stell-egation. But if the fans are going to continue like this, then the only way I believe we can force change, because the fans don't want to do it, is to hurt ENIC financially beyond all belief. That's my approach. That's my thing.
That's fine. So you're more than happy. Were you happy that Tottenham lost against Crystal Palace?
I've lost audio and I don't know why.
Convenient.
I've lost all audio. Let me try and get it back 1 minute.
That's a convenient time to lose audio. That's a convenient time to lose audio. Oh, I don't know about that one, people. What are we saying here? What are we
Conspiracy.
Let's bring him in. Hang on, let's get rid of this one. Remove this one. Let's bring him in. Hang on.
Get him out.
There we go.
Get him in.
Back now, Tel, yeah?
There he is.
Yeah, someone tried to call me, and because I'm on my phone, it deactivates StreamYard and it goes to the bloody phone call. So I had to hang up on them.
So you didn't hear what I said?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay. Were you happy that Tottenham lost to Crystal Palace?
No, I'm never happy when we lose, bro.
I thought you wanted Stell-egation.
I want us to be relegated if the fans don't want to take action. And if they're not going to, then yeah, I believe relegation is the only way to force ENIC to change their ways.
So you weren't happy when we lost?
I'm never happy when we lose, Sean. My approach is I'm forcing this on me as well. I'm doing this reluctantly. I'm willing it. Yeah, we're shit. Yeah, we're in Division 1 or no, I'm saying it because there's no other way anytime ENIC are going to change their ways. That's my view.
Okay, but they're not going to change the ways between now and the end of the season, are they?
Correct.
So
no, they're not. They're not.
So
no.
do you think that promoting an ENIC out protest, which creates a negative energy around the football club before the game, before a like an absolute 12, it's not a 6-pointer, it's a 12-pointer, it's a 24-pointer, it's the biggest game that Tottenham have had in years and years.
The fans have no say in the performances on the pitch. The entire fan base in that stadium was behind them against Crystal Palace, and we were utterly shite. Right, the players don't give a shit what the fans feel in the terraces right now. If the club wants to avoid relegation, it's the manager and the players alone that need to motivate themselves out of this. The fans don't play a part in this anymore. They simply don't care what the fans think. It's obvious.
I don't know about that. That's not true.
Sean, if they cared, they wouldn't have put in such a stinker.
Okay, so how much responsibility do you put on the current players then for the state that we're in?
None, because I think the club is in a complete malaise as a result of chopping and changing of managers, recruitment officers, bang average recruitment of players, which has made it unfavourable for the better players to want to play with them, which is why Harry Kane left. He saw this coming.
So you're saying that the play, whether we stay up or go down, is entirely down to the manager and the players, but you give absolutely no accountability to the manager and the players for the state that we're in.
Sean, I think the players have checked out, bro. I think they don't want to be here. They don't want to be at Tottenham. They hate this club. They don't like it. They don't like the decisions made.
So
I think they've checked out.
How can it be that if we stay up or go down is entirely down to the players and the manager, but the reason why we're in the position where we have to contemplate whether we're staying up or going down is not because of the players and the manager?
If you work for a company, Sean, and your bosses are crap, the way they run the company's awful, and you feel demotivated and you hate your job, am I going to blame you, or am I going to blame the people that create the culture of a working environment that you don't want to be in?
You're still employed to do a job. If you don't want to be there, quit, right?
Yeah, but just because you get paid, it doesn't mean you're motivated.
But you still got to do a job. That's part of being a human being.
Yeah, and they're doing a job, a shit one.
That's not the point.
They're turning up to training. They're turning up to the matches. They're doing their job. They're just crap at it because the culture stinks.
All right, let me bring in some of the other guys because you and I have had a tete-a-tete for the last 15 minutes. Johnny boy, what are you saying, my man?
Well, looking at it from that point of view, you could say that all clubs that are not really treating their players with what they expect should just give up down tools and accept relegation. Then there's clubs that have got the players with less luxurious conditions than Tottenham, so they should all give up then. I mean, look at what the Tottenham players have got. First-class stadium, best training facilities in the world, possibly. Why should they be down in tools? Just because they don't like the owners? The owners have been around for 26 years, is it now? So why would you sign for the club then if you didn't like the owner's mentality? Don't sign for the club. Kane left at the end of the season. He didn't down tools in the middle of the season and say, I'm out of here, this is shit. You've got a responsibility. You're paid a lot of money.
John, he did down tools until Conte came.
Came down tools? How so?
Yeah, he downed tools for the first 3 months of the season. Then when Conte came, he perked up.
No, he went. He
Under
was
Nuno.
late coming
Under
back
Nuno.
for the season. That was, I think, it was
Mate,
late.
under Nuno, Harry Kane completely disengaged, guys. Come on.
He didn't turn up to pre-season training for a couple of weeks. I think that was the
And,
extent.
and look how he played in the games under Nuno. He was crap.
I think he still scored 4 goals, didn't he?
But as a working conditions, these players have got it made at Spurs, haven't they? They've got the best facilities, an incredible stadium. They live near London. They've got all they can want. There's no reason to down tools, and you're paid a lot of money. What better conditions can they have? If they knew, every players would have known what the owners were like before they signed.
So, John, I've worked at places that have had great employee assistance programs. You know, there's decent benefits. There's the office is good. The restaurant is good. The you know, they'll take you out for a meal. You know, once every 6 months. You can do working from anywhere, not necessarily even working from home, but the job, the actual job itself, and what people were being asked to do was really, really, really horrendous. And the actual so all of the fluffy stuff, like you're saying, mate, which is important. It's important in a modern working environment that you get that right, but it's nothing unless the core fundamentals are right. The people you're working with are the right people so that you can do your job, that everybody knows which direction everything's going in, and that when things go wrong, it doesn't go to hell in a handbasket, right? And unfortunately, that what you're describing is absolutely right. They've got everything around them that should support them being the best people they are, except for a left back, a left winger, a decent depth of squad, a decent set of strikers. So the problem is not what you're saying. The problem is everything else.
But the thing is, though, Rain, when Conor Gallagher was approached by Tottenham and Villa, he chose Tottenham. Now, you're not telling me that guy does not know what Tottenham and ENIC are all about.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And you listen to Tudor's press conferences, and I listen to them, and I think, have you done any research on this job whatsoever? He was asked,
when's the likely return date for Destiny Udogie and Dejan Kulusevski, and Igor Tudor went, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, what are you doing here? Talk about a guy that's like fucking picked up a fucking paycheck and not caring about the detail. I mean, what are we doing here?
Guys, I never
medical department.
I never wanted Frank, and I never wanted Tudor, and I wasn't behind the Conor Gallagher signing either. So for me, those three are all non-motivating events that occurred as well. I wasn't on board with these things. I was the flip-floppiest who said keep Ange because he's got a togetherness with the players. I don't think we should destroy that. I said that, and I got rinsed for it. I got roasted for it.
Well,
and then when we
you actually got away quite lightly, mate. You got away quite lightly on that one.
Lightly, mate. Everywhere I go, I get called flip-floppios. Right?
It's better than getting called a fat see you next Tuesday.
Got away lightly. And regarding Frank, I was one of those that said, look, get Redknapp and Sherwood in together, or get Redknapp and Defoe, because I think we need someone that knows the Premier League. I was on that train.
So
I don't blame the players.
Okay, so let's move this conversation forward then. So, Stell, can we get a categorical positive approach from you? Because I do believe that a lot of people, not just yourself, I think a lot of people have learned the lesson at Tottenham Hotspur that never being okay with any decision that is made is going to prove to be right in the very near term or at least medium term at Tottenham Hotspur. I think that like if you want to be right, not you personally, if anyone wants to be right, to have the ability in a couple of weeks or a couple of months to say, I told you so, then it doesn't matter what decision Tottenham Hotspur make. If you say, I'm not on board this one, at the moment, given the traction and the trajectory, you're going to be right by being not on board the decisions. So I'd like to hear from all of you right now so we can get it on paper, get it on official, documented, on the record. If Igor Tudor leaves, what do you want instead? And I want to hear a realistic, not things like you say, Stell, where you go, I think that the right solution would be to bring in a manager and give him the full gamut of control at Tottenham Hotspur.
Sean,
the UF model, because that will never happen. And so give me a realistic outcome. Do you want Harry Redknapp to come in after the Liverpool game or after the Madrid game?
Sean, because I don't know what any manager is going to do, and I just went with Redknapp because I felt he would do the things I want. All I want is 3 things from a manager. And this might not guarantee we stay up because I think it's too late, by the way. I think this has gone on too far to recover it. The only thing I want to see is for a manager to play players in their correct position and not experiment at this stage of the season. I don't want to see us playing 2 in midfield and giving up overloads to the opposition. And I want us to have a manager who says to the players, we are going to learn to pass and move the freaking ball and not just lump it long. Ange did that. These players can do it, but it's been coached out of them. We might not be great at it, but my God, every team in the league can at least play some possession football for a little bit. We don't do any of it. So bring back some possession-based football, stop playing 2 in midfield and play players in their right position. Sean, if we do that, I will accept that as being the most we can do right now. Then it's over to the players.
So you don't want Igor Tudor, right? Since he got here,
No.
So since he got here, since the Arsenal game, what you gave him 90 minutes of football, and you said he's not the right guy. Fair enough. Everyone's entitled to opinion. And the next 180 minutes has been proven to be just as bad. So a lot of people right now are Igor Tudor out.
I believe Redknapp and Sherwood as a double act would be the solution right now.
Redknapp and Sherwood. Okay. Drew, where are you at? What would you like to see? Would you give Igor? How much more time would you give Tudor? And where would you roll the Dyche?
Fucking hell. I'm not sure he's the answer, by the way. Fuck, I don't know. I genuinely, we were chatting about it earlier. I'm so disappointed with the lack of desire and effort just from a professional player point of view. Like I just, regardless of who's on the side. I mean, I know it would be all out carnage and chaos if the players just said, fuck this guy on the sidelines. Let's just play, regardless of what he says, let's just walk out there and play, 4-2-3-1. And let's just, play how we know we can play. That would just, I can understand the reason why not. But I just don't. He was brought in as this firefighter and he's been the absolute opposite. And then, the bigger picture to that is, well, that's just Spurs in a nutshell, right? Everything they say is the complete opposite to the actions that they then show in terms of, we want to compete, we want to be this, we want to be that. And then, we don't set ourselves up for anything that looks like success. So do I think there's probably a cause to pivot again? Unfortunately, sadly, yes, because I just don't think this guy I don't really think he understands, although he understands the task at hand, I don't think he understands, even he's admitted to himself, this is far bigger and far worse than I think I even gave it credit for.
Yeah.
You would have thought he'd have spoken to Antonio and you would have thought Antonio would not have said some particularly good things about it. So that says to me, along with the fact that he's not particularly, maybe the first press conference when he came in, he gave it a little bit of an aura, but since then it seems to be like he's just here picking up a fucking paycheck.
Yeah,
I've not really seen anything that tells me he's got any answers to the problem that is Tottenham Hotspur. And that's compounded by the fact that we just cannot ever seem to get a fucking player back. And then when we do get a player back, we're in such bad shape that we have to play them immediately. And then you're concerned again. Like in the back of my mind, I'm concerned that, give it another 45, 50 minutes of exertion and Danzo's toe might fucking go again. Pedro Porro's only just come back. He doesn't look like, he's been far from the player that we'd hope, we know he can be this season, in part because I think he's just had the life coached out of him. He's also had the fucking football just day in, day out, because he's the only player that was actually reliable. Because if you go back and have a look at the people that we've picked up and that are transfers, he was really, really the only one, even though he was brought in at a time where it was after a coach that would probably have actually utilised him very well. He's one of the few players that we've gone out and bought that's actually had League, Europe in terms of game management. And this is probably why he's lasted as long as he has. When you look at other players, you look at the likes of James Maddison's and things like that, as good as he might be on his day, he came in and we were querying the potential for, injuries. And then what do? You put him into a team that is going to be playing in Europe when he's never really played in Europe. So you're already exerting somebody that had a track record for being slightly injured. So you go out, you buy a player that was essentially relegation fodder. They went down. It was an easy purchase. He came in with, at best, 30 to 40 games in him. And what do? We try and play him for 50, 55, 60. And we do that across the board. And then you wonder why players break down all the time. I got your point a few weeks ago, Sean, when you were talking about, the stadium and the pitch. And you think to yourself, there's got to be something. There's something a bit weird. But
there has to be something that.
Well, yeah, but you also look at the management of the players and you look at what I've just outlined there and you multiply that by 5, 6 and 7. Mm-hmm. And then you compound that with the fact that the people that you're bringing in to alleviate or relieve those players are 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Like everything, all of this shit pointed to the car crash that we are in. So I
definitely hear you, but I still think there is something else that's responsible for the injuries than just bad form, bad structure or bad formulation of a strategy. I do hear you on that. Mm-hmm. Guys, before I bring the rest of you in, big up to Alex for coming on, mate. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Let me just,
hi guys.
A couple of super chiddly chit chats. One of them's been here for about an hour and I haven't got back to it. Let me just quickly bring this one in and then I'll come back to the conversation. Ledley's Knee says, did you see the recent Bowley interview where he said on arrival, we had no idea what he was doing. He had no idea what he was doing and had just signed Cucurella because City wanted him. What the F? There's loads of evidence of that stuff, mate. I remember hearing a conversation around who was the player? It was a player who's now currently playing he's playing in Saudi Arabia, and Graham Potter walked past. He was a centre back. He scored a belter of a goal against Tottenham a few years ago, and Graham Potter. He walked past Graham Potter in the training ground, and Graham Potter was talking to his mate, his assistant, and said, "Oh, I'd love to." What was the guy's fucking name? He's got like quite a common name for centre backs from Africa. I forget the guy's name, but
the dude that played for Chelsea as well, that went out.
Yeah, he was at Chelsea, and now he's now playing. Yeah, he's now.
He was at Napoli. His name escapes me, but I can see him. I can fucking see him.
The big guy scored a belter against. Anyway, he only signed.
Koulibaly.
Well done, Alex. Look at Alex coming in with a name draw on Koulibaly. Yeah, he only signed Koulibaly. Big up to Alex. What a knowledge drop. He only signed Koulibaly because he heard Graham Potter saying, he's walking past Potter, and Potter said, "Oh, I don't mind that Koulibaly guy." And then about 24 hours later, he was in the squad. Right, so,
and I'm not being funny, by the way. as much as I hate the hairy fucker, I'd take Cucurella all day long at the moment. At least the fucker's got some fight. At least he's got some fight about him.
He's one of the best left backs in the game, mate. He's an unbelievable player.
One of the best left backs in the game. Best left backs in the game.
Smash like, smash subscribe. It doesn't surprise me hearing that one about Todd Bowley.
Smash the like and subscribe, chat.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
Great entertainment. Doesn't cost you a bean.
I will be getting everyone's YouTube channels. I know Stell's got a new YouTube channel. I'm going to be helping in getting that one out there for you. I know Rain's got his boy THFC Till I Die Dermatron's channel.
You need to. Can I just make a suggestion quickly before I forget? Stell, you need to get somebody, or if you're quite fancy with the old AI, remember the old record breakers with Roy Castle? If you want to be a record breaker, if you want to get with Stell-egation, Stell-egation's what you need. You know? That shit. Oh, do that, mate. All day long. All day long.
Do you know what?
I'm on.
You're not going to get that out of your head now. I swear.
Hearing that.
Mate, I've had people sending me audios. Stell, use this as your intro. Stell, use this as your. I've got plenty sent to me. But yeah, I'll go with that as well. Why not? Why not?
People loving it. People loving it.
People loving it. I told them, mate. I told them they love it.
Craig Fenner says it's all about the promises they don't keep the promises they don't keep to players. Big up to you, Craig. Yeah, we don't know what the promises are made, though, do we? Promises made, promises broken. We don't know what promises were made. It's not speculation. And a user, big up to you, my man. Thank you very much. He says, hey, Sean, just joined. Out of 1,028 votes, 47% want Dyche. What did he even do at Forest, and why would he cope with the bigger pressure here? I'm lost. In the Premier League, he won 33% of his 26 games in charge. So he won 8 out of 24. So he won 33%. So I mean, that's enough. That'll be enough if he wins 3 games.
That would be enough for us. I work every time. 33% of the time works every time.
It works every time.
By the way.
Okay, guys, I came on here to make a statement.
Okay.
Yeah? Until now, I tried to hide the situation, but now no. Okay? When you're in a situation like this club, you have to ask where are the players? Where are the players? These players don't want to play under pressure. These players don't want to play under stress. That's what he said, and it's still true.
Wait. Just for those of you who weren't familiar, we have an Austrian man doing an Italian impression an English impression of an Italian man. And well done, Alex. You're doing a great job. Decent club. Carry on.
Exactly. So I think in a situation that we're here now, I'm always the positive guy. I always see the glass half full. I was never worried that we would go down until the last 2 games. And I have to admit, the last 2 games, I got really worried. And I am of the firm belief that if everyone has a lot of pressure and there's a lot of tension, you should let players play in their best position or in a position that they know. Letting Gallagher play as a right wing, I'm sorry. It didn't work at Atletico. It didn't work here. But I can tell you, because I'm from Austria, and you like your Ralf Rangnick, our coach.
Yeah, Ralf Rangnick. We like Ralf Rangnick.
Danzo plays the left-sided centre-back for the Austrian national team. So he's used to do that. He can do that. Yeah. And Van de Veen, when he plays for the Netherlands, he plays as a left-back. So he knows how to play that as well. And if you say we need more width, and we don't want an inverted fullback like Jet Spence when he's fit, why not play Danzo as the left-sided centre-back next to Romero and Van de Veen on the left? I have to admit, that's all I wanted to say, because I believe when the stress is high, it's best to let players play what they're really used to, what they're really good at, play to their strengths. And yes, you have to be flexible as a manager as well. If you say, I want to play with 3 in the back and it's just not working because you don't have the players, then adjust the system to the players you have, because that's what makes a great manager. That's my thing. That's I wanted to say. And then there was one thing. I'm sorry, I couldn't watch you guys now for the last 1.5 hours. So maybe I'm repeating myself, but I'm repeating here. But there is everybody says that, or a lot of people say that Tudor is the wrong guy because he's not Prem proven. And I was like, Prem proven like Frank? Because Thomas Frank, he was Prem proven and it didn't work. So I don't think that it makes a difference. But I don't think that he's the right guy for these players because they need a psychologist to get their self-esteem back. And I know some people say, yes, but they are millionaires. They should be able to fathom the pressure, which I agree on one hand. But then again, still they are humans, and most of them are still very young, have never had a situation like this, and they need some role models to guide them. And we thought that Conor Gallagher would be one of those role models, and so until now, I didn't really see it. So
I don't see Eugene on the panel. I was looking for who's been saying about Prem proven, and I don't see Eugene.
A lot of people saying about managers, though. A lot of people have been saying.
I had a question for you, Alex. Do you think that I completely agree with you about what you've said about how to get performances out of these players? Do you think Tudor's going to do that?
I don't know. I mean, the next 3 games. I mean, it's a nightmare. You play Atletico twice. It's really hard to break them up, and our attacking force is non-existent. So it's
unbelievable at home in Europe, though.
Yeah, it's bound to be a disaster. And then we go away to Liverpool, and I think we didn't win there for how many years? Even with Son and even with Kane, we didn't win there. So I don't know. I mean, I think the future looks bleak, and I'm saying that means something because I was really always say, come on, guys. You're so miserable bastards. Come on, let's stay positive. It's really hard for me to see that. And the worst thing is, I cannot see the championship out of Austria. So I have to get, VPN and all that stuff because there's no way that I can follow the team because I'm a Tottenham fan and I will follow my team. Also, even when we go down.
I'm pretty sure that even in the UK, you can't watch every championship game, can you?
No. Alex,
I got you, Sean. I got you, bro.
Alex, when fans said Prem proven, they were talking about for a relegation battle, not for a league campaign. They're talking specifically for. When I say it, I mean just for this relegation battle, not for a normal season.
Well, then obviously that's not him. I mean, he is proven if it comes to relegation battles, but he's not proven at a Premier. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The next 3 games, I think they are kind of, how do you say it in English? Free hit, because I don't think anyone expects us to get anything out of the 3
more free
games.
Hits. How many? We're running out of games for all these free hits. I know, but every game's a free hit.
What are we going to do if we are going to the Metropolitano in Madrid? What are we going to do there?
Listen, I genuinely think we can go away to Madrid and come back 1-1 or like 1 goal deficit. But we've got an incredible. I know we're absolutely shocking at home in the Premier League, but in Europe we haven't lost. We've got like the 2nd longest European non-loss record in the history of Europe.
At home. For home games.
At home, longer than Real Madrid, longer than Barcelona. Yeah. I think it's insane how many games we played in Europe. Obviously, I know that incorporates a lot of Europa League level teams, but it's an insane record at home in European football. So if we can go there and come away like 2-1 down, there's every chance we could get through it. But according to the panel I asked you guys earlier, most of you don't, well, all of you, in fact, I don't think anyone said that you actually want us to qualify, which is mental to me. I want us to qualify. I always want us to win.
Of course, I always want to win.
If the question earlier was wanting us to, then absolutely I want us to. I just think Simeone's, like I said earlier, he's looked at us and said we're soft as baby shit. Get at them and it'll be done in a leg. I mean, I don't want that to be the case, but nothing in this team showed me that they've got any fucking fight to do it. But then I remember having this thought earlier that now I've slightly contradicted myself because we're pretty good in Europe. So I don't fucking know. This team's got me schizophrenic.
Can I ask you a question, mate? Can I ask you a question? And John as well, because you're putting your finger up. For me, I'm one of the fans that thinks we should forget the Champions League on the basis that it will affect us in the league. So actually, I'm the opposite. I'd rather we focus on the Champions League and mug off the league, because I don't think we can do both. John, do you see a world where Spurs can actually stay up and progress in the Champions League, or do you think it will affect one or the other?
I don't think it'll affect one or the other, because the players are going to be up for wanting to play the Champions League games. Any players that want to leave are going to be in the shop window. They're going to want to do well. Van der Ven, Romero, Muani's apparently going to go back to Juventus, so they're going to put in a shift in the Premier League. I don't think they're going to give a shit now. I don't think it matters who the manager is. I don't buy into all this Harry Redknapp stuff. Put your arm around them, because everyone said, "Oh, Tudor, he's 6'4". He's going to put the frighteners up them. He's going to make them work." It's bullshit. They're checked out of the league. Champions League, you watch. They will put in a shift. I reckon they'll come away with a really good result.
I agree. I actually agree with you. I mean, Madrid are the toughest team we played this, apart from PSG. But this is now a two-legged affair. Against PSG, we started strong. We finished weak as piss. But PSG have got form in letting teams get decent results again. I mean, I think it was in the knockout stages that they went 2-0 down against Monaco, right? And then they came back and smashed them. So, it's not uncommon for PSG to start slow but to finish very strong. But against Atletico Madrid, they're the second strongest team we will have played. I think if we can get away from there, score draw, ideal world, obviously a goal up. But I think if we can bring them back to our place, I know that everyone would sit there and go, it's game over. But actually, the European form is different. It's different. It is different. I don't know
what about
why
injuries.
But it is different.
What about injuries? The more games we play, we can't keep the players that we've got, that remaining.
But that's also a double-edged sword, Hugo, because more games means more chance to get more minutes in players' legs to try and get them something resembling fit as well. So you have to,
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, we know the ones that aren't going to be back anytime soon. So in the meantime,
well, according to Igor Tudor, we don't. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't think our medical department know either.
No, probably not. Listen, we're not going to get past Barcelona in the quarterfinals, right? If we do manage to squeak past Madrid, we won't get past Barcelona. But if it's not Barcelona, it will be Newcastle. And I don't know. Newcastle are a team that there's a chance, isn't there? I mean, they're a decent.
Well, Kudus will be back by then. I heard after the international break, Kudus is bound to be back.
Kudus will be back. Maybe Kulusevski will be back. Udogie might be back.
And then we're in exactly the same cycle of players coming back, and we're immediately having to expect them to hit the ground running, and they're going to pull another something else in 3 or 4 weeks, and then they'll be out for another 2 games, and we're exactly back to where we are because the mismanagement of this fucking squad. The more I think about it, it makes my blood boil that they've let this shit crumble for years. Years.
They'll miss me when I'm gone, Sean. They said it. They will miss me when I'm gone.
If we won the Champions League but got relegated, how many more players do you think would stay at Tottenham? I know it's a ridiculous hypothetical.
That would be the most Spursy thing, though, wouldn't it?
Do you think any players that would otherwise leave Tottenham would stay because they're still in the Champions League?
No. I think it guarantees them the transfers they want.
I don't think so. Honestly, if I would be in the board, I would tell the players, if we're going down, you all stay, because nobody is leaving this sinking ship. If you want to go, we have to stay up.
We'll let you leave if you stay up. So fucking figure it out. I like
that. That's the opposite to what Tudor said. He said if you're not on board the boat, you can get off.
I know. I'm not defending Tudor.
Yeah, but if Tudor said the only way you can get off the boat is if you stay up. So the next port is in the Premier League.
Sean, you can't.
The championship, then it's a long sail. It's a long sail.
You can't keep players at a club that don't want to be here, because they'll become detrimental to the squad. They'll intoxicate the players that do want to be here, and in the end, it never ends well. It never ends well.
Yeah, you're right.
Bearing in mind that we know
more toxic than now, it cannot be.
Who's going to be signing off on the?
We're Tottenham. Never say never. We're Tottenham.
Oh God.
Who's signing off on the sales?
Who's signing off? Matt Butcher.
Yeah,
That's gonna be him.
That's a great question. We don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know someone.
I mean, you can't sell someone if there's no one to sign the thing, right?
Currently, there's somebody at the club on LinkedIn looking for directors of football, heads of medical departments. Maybe they start looking for centre forwards on there as well. I don't know.
We all ought to just submit an application. Just thousands of us just start bombarding Spurs with it. I mean, how ridiculous is it that as a Premier League football club that we are looking for a new DOF on fucking LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Seriously, as if
This
we
is why we
weren't
need to go
enough of
down.
a laughing stock in the world of football, not just nationally but internationally, that we're having to try and find someone to replace Paratici on LinkedIn. I mean, who came up with that idea? Honestly.
I genuinely think they'd probably be better off. I think we could all do a job because it says something that we've been going for however long it is we've been going for, and none of us have really had a blow up with anyone else, even though we've got somebody on here that actually wants the club to go down. So I just think it's testament to all of us that we can have adult conversations and still know what's best for the fucking club. I think it's been a great stream in that regard. So smash, like, subscribe.
Yeah, it's probably a good time.
I just wanted to say that and just give a little big up. I was just getting in my feelings for a second there. So yeah, carry on.
Stell, what's the name of your new channel?
Chilled out, Drew.
What's that?
We know why you're chilled out.
Yeah, well, this is true. This is very true.
I've never seen a man smash as many pipes and the.
I'm an absolute monster. Honestly,
you're a monster.
Absolute monster.
You are. It doesn't affect you. Well, maybe it does a little bit, but not like. If every one of them is the equivalent of me having a beer, I would be absolutely gazeboed.
Drew's been working more pipes than James Flowers' bloody plumbing business.
Where's Flowers? Pick up.
Where is he? Where is he? Get Flower on.
He come in on the chat earlier, and then he's.
Stell, do you want to put your channel in the private chat, mate, and I'll plug it for you because I know you've got a few hundred Stell-egation.
It's a bit hard in the on the phone to do this.
What's the name of it? What's it called?
Mr. Stelios on Spurs #Stell-egation squad.
With the Roy Carlson theme music.
You should not be in marketing still.
No, there's more S's than Berlin. Fucking hell. What was that? You spell it again?
Yeah, it's SSS.
There you go. Subscribe to Stell.
Your papers.
You go,
there you go, guys. There you go. He's just getting his new channel going. So you've left Tottenham corner, Spurs corner, have you?
Yeah, with a heavy heart. I love the boys. Big up Mari, Iggy, JP, Maz. Always going to be my closest YouTube friends, and off YouTube as well. Always hang out with JP and whatnot. So yeah, look, I hope they smash it. I hope they do the best they can. I've decided to do this purely from a selfish financial perspective. Got no shame in hiding it. I'm doing it for me because I want to make it about me. I'm being honest about it, and that's it.
It's all about
only
me.
now. Only now.
It is. I am doing this from a very selfish place. So
own it, bro. I love that. I'm exactly the same. You know, like 100% of something.
But follow the Spurs corner as well, everyone. Follow the Spurs corner.
Get to the Spurs corner, but Mr. Stelios on Spurs. There you go, guys. If you are, well, even if you're not a Stell-egation proponent, but you appreciate Stell's takes and other things, there's the link. Make sure you smash like, smash subscribe. Does anyone else have any channels that we need to be plugging? I need to get Dermatron's channel for what is it? THFC Till I Die, isn't it? This is for Dermo and for Rain. Rain's obviously come on the channel.
Rain.
Rain. I'm a data guy, right?
Come back in, Rain.
Love Rain. He got a little bit pissed off with you, though. Did you see that?
He did for a second. I did actually have a apology. I mean, it's all love. It's all love.
Let me finish my point, right, before you fucking bury me, yeah?
Let me finish it, and then you come back in, all right? Before you take the piss. Let me bloody finish.
Finish my point, Drew.
Sensational.
Love you, Rain. I love you. He's probably still listening, going that.
No, we love Rain. He's fantastic. He's fantastic. There's Rain and Dermo's channel. Big up to Dermo and Rain and everyone else on the THFC Till We Die thing. Big up to all of you. I think we've done the super chats. Any final comments, guys? Score predictions for Madrid. Score predictions for Madrid.
All right.
It's the away leg first, right?
Yeah.
3-1 Atletico.
Oh wow. Okay. Wow. Nice and positive. I get it, mate. I get it.
I mean, I'm being a realist, mate.
I get it, mate. I hear you, man. I hear you.
Do you know, I watched Atletico in the Copa del Rey against Barcelona smash them 4-0. They tore Barcelona to shreds, and
yeah,
I think we could be on the end of an absolute whooping, you know.
Yeah.
So 3-0 Spurs.
Do we know much about the team news? Have they got players out? Are they full strength?
No,
is Alvarez going to be popping off up top?
No, they signed players in January.
Yeah.
Fucking Lookman, he will kill us.
Fucking Ademola Lookman, isn't it? What is this? It's all over, isn't it?
What is this? I want to play for Tottenham. No, I don't. I want to play for Madrid.
Bang in the goals for fun.
Mate, their front four is Lookman, Alvarez, Griezmann, and Sulo. I mean, it's murder. It's absolute murder.
And we're without. Oh no, we've got Romero and Van der Ven. Not that that counts for much, but.
And we're going to go with the back three of Porro and whoever else.
See, this is another.
Porro play on the right wing back. Porro will actually play where he's supposed to play for the first time under Igor Tudor.
I hope so.
And Simeone wants Romero, so you watch him put in an absolute masterclass.
Yeah.
He will get a red card after 3 minutes.
In the Europa League final. He's
no idea why we couldn't just go. Why can't we just go with the players that are available? I don't know why you can't just go VDV at left back. You do Danzo left centre back, Romero, Porro. You've still got a backup in Dragusin because apparently it was only a slight knock, so he should be back. Then you've got Byfield, although as a kid seemed to be pretty assured. Right, then you've got your Polinia Gallagher as your pivot. Then Xavi, I don't know what. Xavi Tel. No. Xavi Tel, Solanke, Richalison.
He's not going to play 4 at the back. You know he's not.
No, I know he's not, but I mean, I'm not even a coach, and I know very little about actually football as coaching it. But I can pull that out of my arse, and surely that sounds like a better 11 that can pull something out of their arse than this fucking 3-5.
The 11 on paper isn't horrendous. The 11 on paper is not horrendous. It's nowhere near as bad as as people make it out to be if you play the right people in the right positions. But
big up James Flower. As soon as Tel's mentioned, no, drop Tel. He's dog shit, innit? He's dog shit. Innit?
He's been lurking. He's been lurking. Sorry, James, you're not the man with the most pipes in this fucking in this stream today, mate. You're not the man with the most pipes.
By the way, if you need a plumber,
on YouTube.
You've been working on James Flower as well, I can see, Drew. Very good, very good. Listen, Johnny boy, what's your score prediction for Tuesday?
2-1 Atletico Madrid.
Okay, so something still to play for. I love that, mate. Yeah. Thanks for coming on, Johnny. Alex, my man, big up to you for coming on, mate. What's your score prediction?
It's really hard for me to predict anything else but a victory. But I go with a 1-1 draw because they will play with less pressure because, yes, I think they will come up. Yeah, 1-1. Let's keep it like that.
1-1, yeah. I'm going to go for 2-1 as well. I'm going to join Johnny Boy, 2-1 to Madrid, but something to play for in the back end.
Romero header, set piece.
Yeah, Romero's either going to score a goal or going to get sent off. You know that he's got something. He's got a point to prove. Whether he proves the right point or the wrong point, we shall see. But there will be a point proven on Tuesday night. We'll be back tomorrow, guys, with more. I've looked. I don't think there's anybody else streaming right now that I can see. So no one.
2-2, by the way. Cheeky Desmond, 2-2, by the way.
Cheeky Desmond on the bet.
Looks like Stone's chopping up there as well.
I'm going Tottenham 2, Atletico 5.
I'm sorry, mate. I forgot to ask. Was he going 2-5, 5-2?
Yeah.
2.
Over the whole leg or just the first leg?
First leg.
Wow. Okay.
It's gonna have Saint-Germain. It's gonna have Saint-Germain away vibes.
Well, we're going to score first. They're going to peg us back. We're going to score second, and then it's going to go all tits up in the second half. Yeah.
Yeah, red card, VAR decision, crazy penalty, Vicario blunder, something special.
So if we do get smashed to that extent, do you think Tudor gets binned?
No. I think he gets Liverpool. You think he gets Liverpool?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Last question. Yes or no? Do we have a new manager by the end of the season?
Oh no.
Yes. 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 Yes, we will.
No. Chat in the chat. Yes or no? Do we have a new manager by the end of the season?
You know they're going to sack him. You know they're going to sack him.
Permanent or interim?
I don't give a fuck. Either way, is Igor Tudor going to be out the door before the end of the season?
Caretaker, cheeky Peter Shreve vibes. Oh, fuck.
You know they're going to sack him. You know it.
They can't even get can't even get a work permit for his number 2.
They brought him in to give us a new bounce. He's done nothing but make it worse, and they're going to keep him. It defies the point of hiring him. They'll get rid of him.
Imagine if he gets sacked before his number 2 gets a work permit.
Oh my Lord!
He's been employed and sacked. He was actually employed by Tottenham Hotspur for -5 days. -5 days. He was going to get his
Sean, the only way he stays is if he's still the manager for the Forest game and he wins that game. That's the only way I see him staying.
Yeah, I agree.
The other thing is, otherwise, if they keep him, we get relegated. Do they then make him permanent manager for the Championship?
Jesus Christ!
I'm not dealing with that shit. Listen, this channel might be rebranded, by the way, guys. By the end of the season, this channel might no longer be called Spurs Talk Show. It might be called something else because I can't handle doing.
Yeah, no, it won't. No, it won't. It'll be called Sean-egation.
Sean-egation. Nice. I can work with that. I'll be a Johnny come lately. Show. I told him. Stell-egation. Sean-egation. It's right, Sean. It's right.
Sean-egation.
All right, lads. Listen, thanks everyone for joining us. We appreciate everyone. And I'll be back later on tonight for Rabbit Hole with Johnny Boy. And the rest of us will see you guys all tomorrow, no doubt. Monday night, we've got Spurs 5. And make sure you get over to Mr. Stelios and everyone else's channel I've already printed. Appreciate everyone for coming on. And we'll see you later on. Like, subscribe, and comment, as always. Bye-bye.
Thank you, gentlemen. Bye-bye.